Welcome to Lorehammer, episode 31. Nobody expected the Inquisition.
Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer, the only podcast that ever expected the Inquisition. My name is Eric.
So here's my problem with beavers.
Okay, that was Mark, who clearly has some unresolved issues with Canada's most majestic of animals. Jordan, hello.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Good.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. Joining us today is Micah.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Excellent. How's your 40K been so far?
Recently. I don't play the game, just like the lore.
All right. Well, thanks for coming today, Micah. It was great
bye.
to have you on.
See ya. No, so I actually, it's very interesting that I got invited onto this one because I started reading one of the Eisenhorn books, but I'm not through it, so it's not really going to contribute much to my information that I can provide.
No, that's fine.
Sorry.
The Eisenhorn is without a doubt one of the coolest Inquisitors.
I've heard.
Clearly, you've never heard of Inquisitor Brandy. John.
I don't think he has.
Well, okay.
Well, okay.
That's on you, I guess.
It depends. No, what? That's weird. Brandy? Who the heck is Inquisitor Brandy?
Yeah.
You've made that up.
I make a lot of things up.
You made that one up. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you so much. We have a couple new patrons in our Patreon, so we need to give a shout out to Justin, to Raymond, and to Ink Overflow, who I can only assume would like to keep their identity completely anonymous because they are ashamed that they listen to us.
Oh.
That's my guess.
Probably, I guess.
I mean, what other reason would you have? Unless you just wanted to hear me say Ink Overflow on
Possibly,
the podcast.
yeah.
In which case, you win, good sir.
Also, this week I want to start some Iron Jaws and
Age of Sigmar.
Age of Sigmar. Not ever going to talk about it on this podcast, but just wanted to give a shout out to Don, who sent me an Iron Jaws box set for free.
Yeah,
So,
dude, Mark was like, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing it" on Facebook, and the guy was like, "Hey, Mark, I've got a box. Do you want it?" And just mailed you one.
yeah, so still waiting on it, but that's
awesome.
not on him. That's on the postal service, and
damn
they will be getting a letter from my
centralized
lawyer.
postal service.
Yeah.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Canada Post, service sucks.
But yeah, thanks.
That is
Appreciate
very
that.
generous of him.
Yeah.
Super cool. Was not expecting it at all when you posted that. So I think I'm just gonna start posting thinking about buying a Doomsday Ark.
Yeah, of course.
know?
Yeah.
Thinking about picking up some destroyers.
Thinking about getting into Warhammer. What do you guys think?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, do this. Anyways, thanks so much to people who continue to support us. I don't know if anyone... Some people did because they messaged us, but we had a little hiccup in the week where our podcasts stopped working
Yeah.
suddenly. And apparently, you have to pay in order to use a hosting website. So that was
Oh.
And
that
you
was
have
weird.
to pay. Threats don't work.
Yeah, exactly. We've sent severed toes.
Doesn't
we
work.
sent strongly worded emails.
No, it doesn't work. They want that Visa card number.
Was that
Absolutely.
Apple or Podbean?
No,
or what?
Apple doesn't host.
I sent in a woman with a "Can I speak to your manager" haircut.
Yes, the soccer mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still did not work.
Didn't
even
work.
that didn't work.
No.
Oh my gosh, that's normally the failsafe. Yeah, so that was really funny, but we actually used your guys' money to fund our podcast.
Wow.
So you guys kept this podcast alive. So thank you.
From the brink of total annihilation.
I don't know
the
how.
depths of despair.
Yeah.
You raised us.
Because $110 between 3 people, I don't know how we would have got that much money together.
How on earth would we come up with $110 bubbles? That's impossible.
Begging on the street, of course.
Well, whoring myself out, obviously, but that's how I pay the bills regularly.
I think Mark would make more money.
Whoring myself out?
Oh, that's because he's into
I fit
dirtier
into
stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Lower standards.
Exactly. He's willing to degrade
He takes the
himself.
desperate ones.
I also fit multiple fetish niches.
Let's
Niches.
list those up, Mark. What?
Gross.
There's 6 of them.
There's 6 of them, yes.
Yeah, name them.
Name them all.
No. I don't have anything.
He's ashamed.
We're just trying to make a joke.
All right. Well, the next thing is we want to talk about listener lore.
Yes. Send it
Send
in.
it in.
Oh, dang it. I got so excited.
No, we're not sharing yet. We've been on some tight schedules recently. We're actually super excited to make these episodes. We've probably got enough for like 2 or 3 now.
Yeah.
At this point, it's
Yeah.
really, really cool. But it's just our schedules haven't really worked up with it yet, so it's coming.
Yeah,
but
it's coming.
Keep sending it in because it's so awesome for us to read it and explore it, and I don't know,
Crush your hopes and
exactly.
dreams.
I didn't want to say that, but
a couple people are like, "Oh, please be gentle." It's like, of course, like if you write shitty lore, I'm just gonna lie to you and say it's good. It's gonna be
Right, of
fine.
course.
Like it's not a big deal.
we're like the elementary teacher.
Yeah,
that
like-
is like, don't worry, Johnny, you'll make friends. No.
Yeah, yeah,
You get a participation trophy
yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
in the very inclusive world of Warhammer.
No, of Lorehammer.
Yeah, of Warhammer. Sorry.
If the thing is, like, we won't do it to you personally. We won't tell you it's bad. When we read it and share it with everyone,
Oh, yeah, it will be
that's
on-
when we're
yeah.
gonna crucify you.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that. Now let's do a little fun thing before we start the main
Because
episode.
the rest of this has been just fucking tedious.
Well, it's not fun, that's for sure. Hanging out with you clowns.
Okay, it's loading.
It's a
He's
chore.
loading.
No,
his
I
iPad
got it.
page.
Okay, so what I'm going to do
Scrolling.
today is I found 40K dad jokes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I'm going to say a dad joke, and you guys are going to tell me how cringeworthy these are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did the Chaos Gods stop inviting corn to breakfast?
Because he ate all the cornflakes.
No, because corn flakes.
Oh.
Oh.
Thanks,
Okay.
Papa Eric.
All right.
Tell me another one.
Who is the most helpful Primarch?
Who?
Dorn's always willing to lend a hand.
Because he lost one.
Okay. What unit makes the best cashiers?
I don't know. I don't know.
The Lords of Change.
Wow. Wow. I thought this was supposed to be funny.
It
Eric.
is funny. It's funny how terrible it is. How do Astartes chefs add flavor?
How?
A salt cannon.
I think that one's my favorite.
That one's good.
Because it's so dumb. Wow. Okay, one more, Eric. That's all you get before like my brain leaks through my ears.
What do you call it when an Australian tactical squad splits into 2? Wombat squatting. I don't get that one.
Dylan,
Wombat.
you're listening?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll
No.
understand this
Any
Australian
of our
joke.
Aussies,
Yep.
tell us what's going on. Anyways, no, I got another one. A real one. Okay, it's the last one.
Leave it on a high note, right?
Yeah, exactly. Why is Magnus so far in college debt?
Why?
Because he has 1,000 sons.
yeah.
That's good.
So
That's good.
dumb.
I like that one.
That's a good one. Yeah, I got lots more for the next episode.
Great.
Don't worry about it.
Hooray.
Yay.
Okay, let's talk about our next episodes.
So we're going to be doing a 4-part Inquisition series. So this first episode, we're going to be talking about the founding of the Inquisition, Inquisitors, different Ordos in the Inquisition.
It's a very basic knowledge.
Yeah.
This is a skeleton framework of the Inquisition.
Yeah, we're talking
You guys
about
have never seen those before.
No.
talk about like what kind of war gear they have access to, like what did they do for punishment,
How,
like,
how does an Inquisitor act? How
Yeah.
do they interact with people?
preferred style of clothing,
Right, of
any
course.
essentials. So that's going to be episode 1. That's going to be what you're listening to right now. Episode 2, I guess it's not episode 2, but part 2 will be the Ordo Malleus specifically and the Grey Knights.
The threat beyond. Wow.
Then the next one will be Ordo Xenos
The
and
threat
the Death
without.
Watch.
Ooh, yes, the threat without. I missed my cue on that one.
That's fine. Let's try that again.
All right.
Part 3 will be the Ordo Xenos and the Death Watch.
The threat without. I almost missed it again.
And then the final part will be the Ordo Hereticus and the Sisters Battle.
And that is the threat within.
Yeah. So we decided to break it into each of these factions because the Inquisition is such a big topic. And like when I think of the Inquisition, like the Grey Knights, while technically not a part of it, they are. And they are.
I'm not looking at you, Mark.
They
I
add
am
so much
not
to
looking
the
at
Inquisition,
you.
even though they are their own separate. Like, Same with this.
No, they're not.
Oh boy. Anywho,
They're the military branch of the Inquisition.
so yeah, they're part of the Inquisition. But
Yes.
like, yeah, so when we do that, we're actually going to be going into like what the Grey Knights are, like what are their units like. Like we're
Yeah.
actually going to be diving more deeply
We wanna-
into the Grey Knights
Yes.
than the actual Inquisition part.
Exactly. We want to share about the Inquisition before, because the Grey Knights deserve their own episode. They don't deserve to share it with Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
Right? Or the Death Watch. All
Yeah.
of those guys should get their own. So.
Yeah, and also the Inquisition. We'll get into it here pretty quick, but it has basically over the 10,000 years, it kind of breaks down into different eras. So like the first when the Inquisition is founded, it's just the Inquisition, and they had one goal. And we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, 2,000 years pass, and then they're like, oh, we actually have something else that we need to take care of.
Yeah.
And it branches into something, and it kind of builds out and turns into this huge thing. So we're going to kind of be
Mess.
taking it.
Turns into a mess.
Yeah, step by step and working their way through. So when you're listening to it and they're like, well, why did they not mention the Grey Knights? Because it is going to be coming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just be patient and
So relax, okay?
give it a
You
fucking
frickin'
rest,
animals. You filthy animals.
So yeah, I think we're ready to start.
Okay, well, in that case, let's start with point number 1.
Okay.
What is the Inquisition?
Spanish people, they
And
had
C.
religious something.
religious Spanish people didn't like no, they liked candles.
C.
And they didn't like people who didn't use candles.
Si, senor.
How am I doing?
I don't know. That checks
Great.
off all my
Sounds like the
boxes.
Spanish Inquisition.
Well, I didn't expect that answer. So, the Inquisition is the holy order of the emperor and is the secret police of the Imperium. And their main task or goal is to guard the citizens from all potential threats. So that's threats from the Imperium within it, and threats without it, and the threats beyond the Materium. Dun, 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 dun. All right. The Inquisition is completely autonomous. They
Yes.
do not answer to any power other than the Emperor.
Yeah.
No one can tell the Inquisition what to do.
And the emperor doesn't normally have conversations with people to keep them in check.
No,
Some would say he has none.
Well, those would be heretics.
Yeah.
Have you never heard of an Emperor Vision Fever Dream? Mark?
I've experienced it. Yes.
Exactly. You know firsthand the glory of his passing message. I don't know. Anyways, so they are autonomous. They have no authority over them. They have unlimited resources,
Yeah.
and they were created by the emperor, so no one can question their authority as well. So even like a regular citizen, like you can't just have an uprising against the Inquisition.
Yeah.
It would never work.
And this goes for like Astartes and stuff too. It's not just like normal people can't stand up.
Of
It's
course.
like they are paramount.
Yes, the Astartes are technically like they fall within like the Imperium, and like you can trace down what they fall under and who has
Yeah,
authority over
exactly.
them. But the Inquisition exists outside.
Yeah.
They're the watchdogs of the Imperium, and as such can make most outlandish statements and be taken completely seriously.
If an Inquisitor was to go to a High Lord of Terra
Yeah.
and be like, "You're a heretic. I'm charging you with heresy," like that's real.
But why? What did I do?
Boom, nothing. You're dead. Right? Like that is what
Yeah.
it is. Right? You can't.
Yeah, you can't question the Inquisition.
Right, exactly. Because either you're guilty, or you, by the end of your conversation with them, you will admit to something of being guilty. There's no winning with them. So something we wanted to share right now is in the lexicanum. When you're reading this, they describe them as the secret police.
Yeah.
And Mark and I had two really different ideas of how that existed.
Yeah, so I'll state I'm kind of cold, so I'm kind of almost shivering. I don't know. I'm in a weird mind. So my position on the Inquisition,
Use the Batman
fucking
blanket.
beavers.
Okay. Jeez, someone drank some bad water.
I don't know. I'm feeling jittery. Okay, so my interpretation
Center
of
yourself.
the Inquisition is like they are the secret police. Like not every citizen knows about the Inquisition. Like they are still a secret organization, and yeah, like it's possible that Inquisitors could go to a planet and be like, bow before the Inquisition, and like people be like, I don't even know what that means. But as we've said, like the Inquisition has unlimited power and resources, so it's like they're going to be forced to bow. You know, they're going to be like, if they don't believe them, they can like call upon 1,000 men to, you know, drop onto the planet and like
Only
show
1,000 for the whole planet. Normal men, not a Astartes.
No, just into one room.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, like they're the secret police. They're not a well-known organization, and also like the Inquisition. You might know, like the other is you might know what the Inquisition is, but you might not know what they do. So you might know that the Inquisition is like
A force.
and you should be afraid of them, but you don't know how the Inquisition accomplishes its goals and why they go about doing what they do. So the common citizen, like, yeah, they probably have no idea what the Ordo Malleus is. Like, they probably have no idea about the Ordo Xenos. They know that Inquisitors have the right, but they don't know any of the backstory behind them. They don't know why. They just know that the Inquisitors have power. That's kind of my interpretation. They're this secret organization where people either don't really know about them, or they know that they have power, but they don't know why, and they don't know why they do what they do. They just know that they're allowed to do it. So that's kind of my take. Eric?
My take is a little more like boogeyman style. So if like my understanding of it is that if you're in the Imperium and like you're on a planet that pays its tithes, like you have heard of the Inquisition. Now, you've probably never met an Inquisitor. Your parents have probably never met an Inquisitor. No one you know has known anyone who knows anyone who's ever met an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
But if an Inquisitor ever were to show up, like there's so much mystery and legend around it that it's just an instant like, oh my gosh, like I have to do what this person says. So like I believe that everyone has an understanding of the Inquisition as long as you exist within the Imperium, obviously. But I just don't believe that. Like, I know they're rare. Like, Inquisitors,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of Inquisitors in the galaxy. But, like, just the name of the Inquisition, if you spread, like, that name and you spread the fact that, like, if you're bad, like, we'll come for you, or if you see us, like, you better be terrified, or like so you sow those like seeds, then it is a purpose in and of itself to the Inquisition. So
Yeah, because then if people are afraid of it, then they're
Yeah.
not even gonna try to do anything because they know
Exactly.
somebody's out there and they're gonna get fucked with.
yeah,
So,
and also that you go to a backwater planet and an Inquisitor shows up, and there's so much fear around that Inquisitor. They don't even have to bring an army with them because that planet already knows like this person could do anything that they wanted and they're vindicated. So I more view it like it is a secret police and you've never seen one before, but if you do see one, you're scared shitless.
Like enough to recognize the title, especially like like the tithe thing is like what you said is like you know that they're in contact with the Imperium in some form, and because of that, like I think I would tend to.
It's like one of it's like an SS collar. Like it's just a regular guy until you see that like SS pin, and
Then
all of a
you're
sudden
like-
you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm fucked.
Yeah. And I think this really comes down to like Games Workshop when they write their lore. Different authors have different
That's
takes.
true. That's very true.
So some people will side with me, other people will side with Eric.
Yeah.
I don't think
doesn't really matter
I don't
in
think
the
there is a
end.
right or a wrong.
And it may actually be like a planet to planet basis. Like some planets
absolutely.
would line up with what you're saying, Mark, and others would line up there.
Absolutely. Like, because, you go to some feral world that's like a Space Marine recruiting chapter. They probably don't know what the Inquisition is. They probably don't know what the Imperium is.
Right. Yeah.
I would say that at least like the higher ups on a planet that is connected to the Imperium would
Yes.
have to know though.
Yeah, like planetary governors.
Yeah.
They probably know.
Oh yeah, and
for
they
sure.
would be scared.
Yeah.
Like so scared
Yeah,
if an
like, if an
Inquisitor
Inquisitor-
shows up.
Yeah.
They're like, holy crap.
Yeah, but like some worker in like a bolt gun
Yeah.
factory.
Yeah, I could see them maybe
would
not
he
knowing.
really need to know? Like, he
I
doesn't
don't
have
think
a
you would need to.
He
The
doesn't have
thing
a
is-
formal education
No,
even.
no.
Like,
But that like I think stories that are like a verbal pass down of what's happening, that's where you would learn about it.
And I feel like normal citizens within the Imperium, they're always scared of like, oh, don't do this, it's heretical and stuff like that. And so I feel like
Yeah,
the
but, like,
Inquisition might
who's
get
gonna
thrown
get
in.
you?
Oh, the Inquisition will come for you.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's
Sure.
kind of what
that
I
is
see
how
it
I
as.
would
It's
see
like
it.
it's a
where it's
boogeyman.
like- yeah.
yeah.
Right? Like it's you talk about it like it doesn't actually exist, and then all of a sudden, like one day, like a guy shows up,
Yeah.
in like amazing armor. He's got like the sigil, like the eye on his like sword and armor or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my god, like it's
It's
real.
real.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
But I could definitely see there being planets where it's like
where no one knows
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I like the idea, like when we were talking about it before. I was like, yeah, like the Inquisitor. He just like dresses like a regular worker and goes like hunting through the factories and trying to like gain intel from everyone. And It was just a funny image to me.
I could actually see that happening, or at least like an Inquisitor's like acolytes or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every Inquisitor is different.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So send us what you guys think. Like, how secret is the Inquisition? Because like the other big thing that I wanted to say was Grey Knights are described like as a super secret. Like no one knows
That's true,
about
yeah.
them. Like if an Imperial Guard regiment fights along beside them after the battle, they get their minds wiped. Yet it seems like everyone knows what the Grey Knights are. Like Games Workshop has two very different takes on what a secret means. You know, so. Having said that, who knows? I don't know.
What do you mean when you say everyone knows who Grey Knights are?
It just seems like there's like Space Marines know what Grey Knights are, even though they should not.
But
know
they do get their minds wiped.
Yeah, but you still talk to Space Marines. There's still examples of a Grey
they
Knight
really?
showing up, and they know what a Grey Knight is. But if they're a secret, they
Then no.
shouldn't.
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
Do you?
So like,
Interesting.
so all I'm saying
I've
is,
never seen that example. But.
Yeah.
yeah.
but-
All I'm saying is,
I can
tell
see
us what
it.
you guys think. Like, how secretive do you think they really are, the Inquisition? Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear your guys' takes. Because
About as secretive as the Grey Knights.
perfect.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk now. We kind of know what the Inquisition is. It's a secret organization that roots out heresy, roots out Xenos threats, and watches over your soul for the benefit of you, the people.
Yeah.
So that's what they
Purely
are.
for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're.
Your protection.
So let's talk a bit about their history, because an organization this big and this predominant in 40K has a huge history to it. It didn't just pop up because one guy said so, but it did.
But it totally
But
did.
an important guy. It didn't just pop up because some random weirdo.
No, some guy who's like dead but not dead on the throne.
Yeah.
So way back in the Siege of Terra, the Emperor, in his mystical, magical, wonderful foresight, well, actually, he was having trouble reading the future at that moment. But,
So he says.
Or so he
to get
says.
you to all worship him. Wait,
Exactly.
derailed.
So in the moments leading up to the final battle, the Siege on Terra, the Emperor pulls Malcador the Sigillite, who is his right-hand man. And I just want to say something right now. Malcador the Sigillite, 6,700 years old at this time.
Yeah.
He's
that old?
And he's a
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
6,700 years old.
He was
as
a
human.
he's crazy strong psyker, but
like
yeah.
second
But-
to
and
the
that's
Emperor.
yeah.
how he's-
But did he have like mechanical, biological
I'm sure.
stuff too?
Yeah, but it's not like he was like Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yeah, no,
person,
not
or
like
he was like
more machine than man.
Like, he was definitely more man than machine.
Crazy. And so hold on, is it confirmed then that he's stronger than Magnus?
I don't think they confirm that anywhere.
How could they?
How
Yeah.
could they? But personally, I don't think he is.
Well, definitely not now.
Or
Well,
ever.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think ever.
Because I've seen it thrown around that he was second, but then I've like Magnus is also obviously
Yeah,
Well,
crazy strong.
this is like, yeah. Also, like for 6,700 years,
Yeah.
there was the Emperor and there was Malcador, and Magnus didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
So then he definitely was
At the-
number two.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then when Magnus is created in the tubes, then
Then,
goes through the
yeah.
warp, and now he's more powerful.
Yeah. So,
But that's for a very small period of his life.
yes.
Okay. Anyways, so.
So Malcador is the Emperor's right hand man. Like,
His most trusted. He's even the Emperor's voice and proxy
Yeah.
on some planets.
it's even described that Malcador is the Emperor's friend, which I don't think that's said about anyone
Yeah.
else.
I mean, he was there for the reunification wars and everything.
Yeah. So this is. Oh yeah, sorry. Go on, Eric. Tell me more.
Sorry, I love this.
I'm so out of it right now. I don't
like-
know what's happening.
I love this section. Okay, so the Emperor, he can't see the future, so he's having trouble. So he pulls Malcador aside and says, look, I don't know what's going on, but if I don't make it or whatever, who knows what happens, we now have a new threat within the Imperium, and that's chaos.
Yeah.
And he's like, we need something specifically designed to combat chaos. Because Space Marines were created to beat Xenos.
Yeah.
That's what they're there to do, is take over the reality planets.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden now there's an entire new threat to our souls.
Yeah.
So he charges Malcador with finding some people to create an organization. So Malcador finds 8 Astartes and 4 humans, and all of whom have, I don't know, like shown
Yeah, like a lot of the Astartes were from legions that fell to chaos, but they remained loyal and they ended up fighting their brothers in defense of the Emperor.
So these are like their souls are pure.
Yeah.
Right? They're stalwart champions. Like Cinderman, who
Yeah.
is like he's like one of the first Inquisitors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he was there like with Horus. Or at least he was on the ship or whatever. He was in proximity to it. So he's like one of the ones that's pulled and on this team. But anyway, so he finds 4 people and 8 Astartes. He takes the 8 Astartes to Titan.
Yeah. Which is a
It's a moon of Saturn.
So, yeah.
And then he does crap with them.
Yeah.
And they create a military branch, a fighting force.
Yeah.
But the more important for this moment, more important to understand, is that the 4 humans, exactly, that he took to Terra, and they created the administration aspect of the Inquisition.
Yeah.
They laid the framework of how the Inquisition would operate,
Yeah.
what its goals were, how it would fight them.
Yeah.
Sounds
Even-
like the 40K version of HR.
Yeah.
Except in this one, HR actually has a use.
Yeah.
HR. That'd be nice.
And
to
has
have
more
HR.
authority than the E CEO.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So as you can see, like the Inquisition's authority does directly come from the Emperor himself.
Do they also handle matters of sexual harassment in the workplace?
I don't think those matters matter to them,
Oh,
to
okay.
40K.
Unless you're being sexually harassed by a demonette.
Yeah,
they
in
don't
which case
care.
they're going to kill you because you've been exposed.
Consorting
Yeah.
with demons.
Exactly. That's your fault.
Yeah. The demons.
There's actually another theory.
Yeah, so take all that, everything that Eric just said was fact,
Yeah.
throw it a half out the window because we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, there's another theory, and honestly, this one is such trash.
Yeah.
yeah, I
it's
don't
so
like
not
it
as cool.
anywhere.
So what it is immediately after the Emperor was interred on the Golden Throne, 4 people, and I don't like it doesn't really tell me like how powerful they are or where
Who they were,
Yeah.
what they accomplished.
4
like,
people.
The Emperor's just wandered. Like, the Emperor was on his deathbed, so
Yeah.
they had to be people in line of sight of him.
Exactly.
Because he was like being interred on the Golden Throne.
So they
There's,
knew what was
there's
happening.
a janitor off in the corner. He's like, you come over here, I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just 4 random people.
So there's 4 people, and after they're like, well, he's on there, they were like, what happens next in the Imperium? And 2 of them were of the thought that we need to let things stay as they are. We can't mess with anything else. We just need to push forward, let the Emperor do what this god has
like he has a plan.
ordained. Yes. And then other 2 are like, no, we can find a way to resurrect the Emperor and bring him back. They are known as resurrectionists. The other ones, I don't remember if I saw a name at all. Anyways, the other 2, who were okay with the divine order happening as it is, created the Inquisition to combat the 2 resurrectionists and thwart them in their plans to bring the Emperor back to life, which does not fit
No.
with what the Inquisition does at all.
yeah, it's a very strange foundation.
It must
for
be
it.
an extremely old version of the Inquisition.
Yeah. Well, I think even when we were looking at the dates, that was written in the Inquisitor's Handbook, and that was released in like 2006.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Where the other version with the 4 humans and the 8 Astartes, that was starting to be released in 2000 and I think probably 2009.
Yeah.
And that theory, they also actually name individuals as well.
Yeah, we
Oh
know
yeah,
who
like
they
there's
are.
like
Yeah.
Gabriel Loken,
Garrow, Nathaniel Garrow.
Garrow. There's
Yeah.
Yfrit Keeler, and there's a bunch of them.
yeah.
But
Euphrates, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they name them all.
But yeah, like then when they started doing the Horus Heresy books, then they actually started to flesh it out, and we are still actually seeing how that section of the story is going to fold out.
Because we've met almost all those characters, I think, in the Black Library books.
Yeah.
We just haven't got to the point in Black Library where it's being created.
Yeah, where they're actually like, you are now Inquisitors.
Yeah,
like yeah,
exactly. Anyways, so that's the second garbage theory.
yeah.
So take
yeah,
ours.
it
Take the
doesn't-
first one. It's better.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No,
It's weird.
does not.
So that's really all we're going to talk about for the history of them. They were founded basically by the Emperor through the Emperor's right-hand man, Malcador, in the very late stages of the Horus Heresy. And then, you know, for a couple thousand years, they do their thing of hunting demons.
Yes, because
And-
that's what they are created to. They're
Yeah.
created to protect the Imperium from demons.
Yeah. So how do they go about protecting?
Well, they do it. They have a bunch of different branches, which they call Ordos.
Yeah.
And all of these Ordos have a very specific purpose and a very specific role within the Inquisition.
Yeah.
And it's broken up into the Ordos Majoris and the Ordos Minoris.
Why does it sound like...
I'm educating you?
No, like... the clitoris, the labia minor.
All right, everyone, if you could just look at this diagram I have on the wall
Isn't this
right
a thing?
here.
I don't know. I don't know enough about that, but it sounds like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's the Ordo Majoris and the Ordo Minoris.
Yes.
The Ordo Majoris is the Ordo Malleus, which is informally called the Demon Hunters. The Ordo Xenos, which is informally called the Xenos Hunters.
They got really
No, they're
creative.
alien hunters, I think is technically
Yeah.
what they're called. And the Ordo Hereticus, which is...
Witch hunters.
With witch hunters, yeah. Yeah. So those are the three main branches, and we'll talk about those in our next coming episodes. But basically, yeah, each one was made to fight a specific purpose. Like the Ordo Malleus is the Inquisition right now, essentially from M30 to M32.
Yeah.
Was basically the Ordo Malleus in all but name.
Because they had no other purpose other than chaos.
Yeah, other than to fight demons.
Yeah.
Then the Ordo Xenos happens during like the War of the Beast when
they
they're like,
create
holy fuck, the Xenos
we have another
are...
problem.
Yeah, exactly. And then they create that branch, and then 4,000 years pass,
Gorge
and
Vandire.
Gorge Vandire happens, and then they create the Ordo Hereticus to make sure that the ecclesiarchy and any heretics are in line. They actually put like rules on religion, and they kind of formalize that. And like this is actually what it is to be a heretic.
And Malleus is also like officially formed when they form Xenos, because then that's where like they have to have some people still like devoted to chaos.
That's a good point, because that's when it officially gets its name,
split
Ordo
up.
Malleus.
Yes. But it's just the same people doing the same thing. It's just now you're called. You're an
now you
Ordo.
have a specific
Now you're
title.
not just the Inquisition.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about them in future episodes.
Exactly. They will all get their own episodes.
Ooh, yeah.
The Minoris, though, there's no real time frame of when these were ever established.
Yeah.
These are just the current Ordos that we know exist within the Inquisition right now.
Yeah. And where the other ones are Majoris, there are hundreds of Inquisitors, and these ones, some of them had like only 50 Inquisitors.
Oh, some of these only had 8.
8, yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
like these are very specialized, very much like
Exactly. Yeah.
And so one thing also kind of worth noting is that Inquisitors from these Ordos Minoris, they don't have less authority or anything like that compared to the others, but they may potentially have slightly less resources because they come from like a smaller branch. That's what I was kind of reading. But
Really? Okay.
Well,
to me,
so here's the
there's like a verbal understanding and like even an unspoken, unwritten down understanding of the power level and authority between Inquisitors. It's almost like if you and I walk into the same room, we know who has authority.
Yeah.
Even though like it's not written down, even though we share the same rank of Inquisitor, like one of us is going to bow down to the other one's wishes.
Yeah, and even if one has like the title Lord Inquisitor or whatever, they technically don't have more power, but like the normal Inquisitors obviously gonna have a lot more respect, gonna like
there are a couple
listen.
things that the different ranks will change, but none of it has to do with authority.
Okay, yeah.
But they do give you some allowances, especially when it comes to raising new Inquisitors.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Right.
Nice. You
So
don't
let's
get to
talk
vote.
about the Ordos Minoris. We're going to list all of them, but there are a couple that we want to kind of just extrapolate a little more on or just comment upon.
Some of these are very much like some random guy just wrote it into his book for like no reason other than for like a weird plot point. Like he needed it for his plot point, so he wrote one line on them, and that's all we got.
Exactly.
This is minor Xenos races, guys.
Essentially, yes. You know how much we love those.
Oh gosh, so much. The Ordo Aegis remains vigilant over the Cadian Gate.
I'm curious what happens now.
Well, all of them have been executed for a terrible job.
Oh yeah. Okay, so they're not out of the work. They're dead.
Oh, they're dead. They failed.
Yeah.
They failed the city.
But like that would have been a very
important
role.
Absolutely.
Before Cadia was destroyed. Like,
yes.
Should have had some better men on it.
Should have had some better men.
Should have not.
Or women.
Should have not let the Necrons mess around with the Blackstone.
So the next one, the Ordo Astartes, and they oversee the Adeptus Astartes.
Now, this is an interesting point.
Yeah.
So there are Inquisitors whose specific role is to watch the Ordos Astartes, or the Adeptus Astartes.
Yeah.
They are the Ordos
Yeah.
Astartes. So when I think about this, I'm wondering what exactly they're looking for. Because the chaplains within any chapter, they are responsible for the spiritual well-being of their battle brothers. They're looking for corruption.
Yeah.
Right? So what are the Astartes actually, or what is the Ordos Astartes actually looking for? What do you think?
Okay, so I was going through all these. I actually did specific research on this one. This is probably like the only one I can actually do.
Good, cool. Yeah.
But my understanding is that it was almost like written into one single book about like space wolves. And so then...
Oh, no wonder they needed someone watching them.
But yeah, basically there was like, I think it was during the second founding or something like that. Then they're like... some of them basically were like, "Okay, you either have to go die in battle, or we can execute you."
Yeah,
And
because they
then-
had the second founding Space Wolves chapter had huge
Mutations.
Yeah, and so I think that's where this Ordos was actually kind of formed for that novel.
Yeah.
And then it hasn't really been touched since, because that's
So
my understanding.
what's your extrapolation on that? Because there's no way the Ordos Astartes has ceased to function or ceased to exist just now that they've dealt with this. And to talk about this, the Ordos told this second founding chapter, like, you need to go kill yourself honorably,
Yeah.
like in
battle, dying for the
or
Emperor.
we are going to execute you.
Yeah.
But surprise, surprise, Lehman Russ helps them actually escape.
Allegedly.
Okay, please. Russ could never abandon his children.
No. His
so-
little wolf babies.
Yeah, exactly. Because of this, there's no way the Ordos doesn't exist anymore. So what is it we think they do based on that information?
So first of all, right off the bat, we have plenty of examples of Inquisitors asking Space Marines to do things, and Space Marines are like, "No, that's not what we're gonna do." So we were talking earlier about how like Inquisitors have ultimate control over everyone in the galaxy, but there is a fine line between the independence of Space Marines and the Inquisition. You would have to really, as a Space Marine chapter master, you would have to really debate if you want to defy an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
You could do it and get away with it because you're such a powerful person that the Inquisition doesn't want to start fights with Space Marines and vice versa. So you could get away with it.
But an Inquisition can also
Kill you.
declare
Yeah.
your entire chapter as a heretic.
Yeah.
And brand your entire thing to be killed.
But here's the
so do you want to, like, it's a
There's
really
that-
weird power play tug of
Yeah.
war.
But the thing is, like, Inquisitors who've been around the block, they don't normally go into a chapter and be like, "You guys are doing this for me." They'll
No.
Yeah.
they'll like politely ask
Yeah.
with like the authority behind that question,
Exactly.
but it's not demanding saying you're doing.
You
this.
get more flies with honey.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's like, they understand that if it came down to it, like, the Inquisition can declare this chapter hereticus,
Yeah.
but the chapter is gonna fuck some shit up if they get declared hereticus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't want to anger each other.
Yeah.
You want to work together.
Yeah, so
I see compromise. a lot
Here
of
is
compromise.
one of the major roles, I think, of this order, is to be that kind of in-between Inquisitor, to go and actually deal with Space Marine chapters. Like, because each Space Marine chapter might have their own traditions in order to get their favor, right?
Yep.
Like, if you're a Space Wolf, you're going to have to drink for 42 days. But,
Exactly.
you know,
like
you have...
you need some respect with
Exactly.
the space.
So I think they're kind of the people that go and ask for specific help from them, and they might be under the direction of a higher up Inquisitor, maybe from the Ordo Malleus or whatever, the Ordo Xenos. So I think that's one of the main roles, is they're informed well about the Space Marine chapters, so they will petition
It's
them.
a relations thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like the
HR.
same Inquisitor might be dealing with the same Space Marine chapter for hundreds of years and actually build up that good relationship,
Yeah.
just so there's not that tension.
Exactly.
So
yes.
there's that.
And that is a very important thing, because you want to make sure that the Space Marines and the Imperium do have good contact.
Yeah. So the other portion is declaring them renegade if they actually are renegade. They're the ones who are actually like. So if an Inquisitor asked somebody to do something and the Space Marines defied them, then these guys, the Ordo Astartes, would come in and like actually look at the claims and be like, oh well, you asked them to do something unreasonable. I don't think they're renegade because they disobeyed you.
Right.
I think they're actually soaring through that and like seeing, are they actually renegade or what were their reasons for saying no?
Yeah, is the Inquisitor going on a power trip,
Yeah.
or are the Space Marines not doing this because of some ulterior motive that they have?
Yeah.
And it happens when Inquisitors just kind of like go
Oh,
power hungry.
absolutely.
Like when you're second in command, basically almost in like the
In the
entire
entire
galaxy.
universe.
Yeah, it's like
Inquisitors can command armies.
Yeah.
So
They can walk up and be like, I'm borrowing this.
Exactly.
So the other portion is that they're actually probably the Inquisitors that are actually deeming Astartes chapters renegade. And then the final thing that Inquisitors of the Ordo Astartes do
Probably.
is most likely.
We're assuming.
No, I'm positive.
Okay.
Probably.
This is canon.
Maybe.
This is about to be
Everything's
canon.
They actually collect gene seed ties
Yeah.
from the Space Marine chapters and test for purity.
Exactly.
Okay, I could see that.
Each Space Marine chapter has to give, I forget the percentage, I think it's 5% of their gene seed to the Inquisition to test for purity.
5%?
I don't know the exact number, but it's low like
When
that.
they're starving for gene seed, 5% seems like a lot.
Yeah, but is it more important that you make sure your gene seed is pure, or you're making a bunch of Marines who potentially have a tragic fatal flaw?
But like, if I'm running a chapter, I want to give like the Inquisition like my best gene seed, which means I'm just left with like the worst.
The variation between gene seeds,
I guess.
is not very high.
But
So
also, like the Inquisition will collect this gene seed and start to make new chapters with it as well.
Oh, really?
If it's worthy,
passed.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll store it up, and then when they get enough,
Oh, yeah, I guess they
then
wouldn't
they'll
waste it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Then
Okay.
they'll make the third founding, the fourth founding, and that's where all those chapters come from.
So this is a test of your genetics and
Yeah.
see if your genetics have actually weathered time and all the battles that you've gone. And so that is a very important aspect of this Ordos.
Yeah. So the Ordo Astartes and Astartes, the Inquisition and Astartes have like a very interesting relationship.
And it's very intricate.
Yeah.
Very tight knit.
And yeah, so I think that's kind of sums that up, really.
Yep. All right. The Ordo Astra. They study astronomy and stellar information.
Perfect.
Cool.
Because you need Inquisitors to know maps.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, as much as that's a joke, I like to think that these guys are like charting like warp storms and like,
Oh, okay, yeah.
oh fuck, this warp storm's actually getting bigger, or this one's shrinking, or like this is a new one. You know, I think they're kind of studying more of like the warp related
Do you think-
astronomical.
But
effects.
they're probably also looking at Xeno star systems.
Yeah,
keeping
and seeing
track
like their
of
growth and their
activity.
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point too. Like, yeah.
Ordo Barbarus monitors pre-industrial worlds. So
Sure.
Mark's Night World. There's an Ordo Barbarus in a little satellite rotating around the planet, just watching it.
For 10 years at a time, and then it gets like replaced by another one.
Exactly. Yeah. The Ordo Chronos.
Oh.
Ill-fated organization, all the members of which vanished.
So see their custom lore episode?
Oh,
And,
I'm glad
there
you
you
knew
go.
that. Yeah. Yeah, we came up with like some custom lore where, yeah, whatever.
I really liked it. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. Go
The
check
Chronos
that out.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, and judging by their name, we can guess that they're in charge of time, Chronos time, and that they vanished in some type of like time loop. Like they actually went back in time or forward in time or something.
Mm-hmm.
All we know is that something happened to them in which all of them disappeared.
Yeah.
Which
It's interesting.
It's
like,
so cool.
You could
Yeah.
come up with some great stories like that
there's
when
no,
you end up.
there's not a lot of time play in 40K that is intentional.
Yeah.
Most of it is accidental through the warp.
Yeah.
But if you were to like create a time machine that exists without warp energy,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
But I feel like it definitely seems like they didn't master it. Like they don't have perfect
No.
control. They got lost. They got sucked into time.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. It was definitely a ill-fated, as
Yes.
they say. The Ordo Custodum, based on Terra, I guess it's about the same thing that the Ordo Astartes have. It's for the
Custodes?
custodes.
Yeah. And it's probably just relations. Like it's not anything more.
Could you ever see the Ordo Custodum being like, all the custodes are heretics?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Oh
don't
my
think I can.
gosh.
Having
Yeah.
said that one we're just speculating. Like
Yeah.
we
Yes.
don't. All it says is based on Terra. That's all we know
Yeah.
about them.
And so you
Exactly.
just kind of assume.
Yeah.
Because custodes.
It just shares the
and-
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ordo Desolatus.
Unknown purpose.
Note 22A.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Yeah.
They have to do with desolations. If you read The Way of Kings, let me know.
I've had you read it to me.
Yeah. Didn't really want to admit that. All right. The Ordo Exorium.
Monitors exterminatuses. And this is another big one. Because people think like the Inquisition can literally just go to any planet and be like, exterminatus.
Or Space Marines.
Or Space Marines can do this.
Right? Or even just massive Imperial navies.
Yeah. And they can.
No, they cannot.
To exterminate a planet is a big thing.
And tell me why, Mark. Why can you not, in a galaxy of billions of planets, why can you not just throw away a planet?
Because like planets are still rare. Like sure, there's billions of them, but only 1% of them have an atmosphere. And if you burn up that atmosphere or blow up the planet, like you just wasted like an irreplaceable resource.
And they aren't even necessarily worried about the trillions of humans or whatever it might
No,
be.
it's
They're
a
worried
planet.
about like the resources. They're worried about all the like factories that were there, the resources, the crops, like whatever was like contributing to the Imperium.
Like, is this a defensible location that we've just lost?
Yes, strategic,
right?
like stronghold.
It's-
Yeah.
You cannot just exterminate a planet because you're in a bad mood.
Yeah. There was one Horus Heresy story where I forget all the legions, but it was Emperor's Children, Blood Angels, Sons of Horus, and I think one other one. And they're on a planet called Murder fighting the Megarachnids.
Oh yeah.
And like it was this crazy battle, and they were like on the Space Marines were on the back foot the entire time. And people were asking like, why didn't they just exterminatus that place? It had an atmosphere. Like if they could
It was valuable.
It was valuable because it had an atmosphere. Like
Yeah.
you know.
And then at that point, like they reached a point where like they could not exterminatus it because it was a point of honor for them, right? At some point they had lost so many Marines that it was like, we have to win this battle now.
Yeah.
It was that actually was such a devastating loss
It's pretty wild.
for the legions. Like that was like one of the first losses that they ever took, I think.
So then, like, at what point would they decide to exterminate it? Like, if
I don't think they ever did.
They never did. They left them alone.
Yeah, they
no,
literally-
like at any planet.
okay.
Chaos is just completely overrun. Maybe like even like
It would have
orcs
to pose,
overrun
like, a
because
bigger
yeah.
threat.
they're
Yeah.
a finicky problem to get rid of.
Yeah, orcs or like we had an example a couple episodes ago where Inquisitor Cryptman kind of did that exterminatus of the planets to stop the Tyranids from
Oh,
advancing.
yeah, yeah.
He created
Kinda
like
did
a
that, fire stop. Yeah,
A fire stop. Yeah,
Yeah.
of all the planets.
But he got in trouble from it
Oh,
for
yes.
that, and
I
like
mean-
this Ordo would have been the one giving him shit. Like,
Yeah.
why the like?
yeah, absolutely.
So
How many planets was it? It was a
It was
like
a
a
lot.
lot.
it was
like-
trillions of people that he
Yeah.
killed.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like it's important to know that while the Inquisition is all powerful, there are still people inside the Inquisition monitoring the Inquisition to keep them kind of in line.
Absolutely. The next one, the Ordo Machinum.
And they oversee the Adeptus Mechanicus. I actually added a huge segment at the end of this, so we'll talk about.
Did you?
I did.
And now me and Eric are scrolling down.
Scroll.
Where did you add that?
By huge segment,
Oh.
I meant one line.
Inquisition and the Mechanicum relation.
I'm just gonna ramble for 10 minutes about
Gotcha.
stuff.
Okay.
All right, we had it bolded here because we wanted to talk more about
Yeah,
it. but
and
that's
then
fine.
Colin actually messaged me. I'm like, and he was saying like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna talk about the Shadow War?" I'm like, "What's the Shadow War?" So
I
talk about
only
the shadow.
wanted to talk about this so he would hear it and talk about how the Imperium.
Mechanicans are little bitches.
Yeah, and the Imperiums are watching everything.
Flesh is weak while metal rusts.
Yeah, bitch.
Bitches.
The Ordo Militarum.
They oversee the Imperial Guard.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Ordo Necros.
Unknown purpose.
Yeah, probably something to do with either Necron or death. That's all I got.
Okay, neither of those make sense, but that's fine.
What necro? The prefix.
No,
They deal with necrophiliacs.
There you go.
That's their
There
only
you go.
purpose. Little goblin pot-bellied vampires. Anyways, Ordo Originatus.
Tries to uncover the mysteries of the Inquisition's origin.
Because
wild
there's
to
two
me.
and we don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I imagine this is a small Ordo that is not recognized by any
Exactly.
other Ordo.
Everyone else views them as like the joke.
Yeah.
Or like it's a punishment. Like if you mess up in the Ordo like Barbarous, we're gonna send you to the Originatus.
With Greg.
yeah.
Oh, not Greg.
I hate that guy.
He's so weird.
And it's made all the worse by the next Ordo, which is the Ordo Redactus. And they try to keep the history of the Inquisition
Right.
classified.
Right? Like,
Wait a minute.
you have this one Ordos whose entire purpose is to find out the history, and then another Ordos who probably knows the history.
Or
they-
not. Or not.
And they go to the Inquisitors and they're like, hey, you stop trying to find out information about the Inquisition, or else we're going to get the Ordo Exorcium to take your planet and kill it.
So that's backwards, I think.
Yeah.
but
Welcome
okay.
to the Imperium. It's any other Monday.
The Ordo Sanctorum.
Oversees the ecclesiarchy. Which is odd,
Because
because that's what the Ordo Hereticus was
Yeah.
also created to do.
Yeah.
So when we go into the Ordo Hereticus, we will have to delve into what exactly that they contribute to the entire ecclesiarchy.
Yeah.
So they're obviously very different, but these guys,
Yeah, that's interesting. I can't figure out. Interesting. Okay.
yeah, the Sanctorum oversees the ecclesiarchy.
I got
There you go.
I got no response for that.
I think the Hereticus is also like, what's the Sisters of Battle,
Yeah.
right? Like that's more.
Well, the Hereticus deals with things outside of the ecclesiarchy as well. Like they
like
deal with heretics and mutants and
Yeah.
traitors.
Well, I mean, technically, all of that exists within the ecclesiarchy because the emperor's religion is like the state
Yeah.
religion.
Yeah.
So everyone is within the ecclesiarchy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't ration my head around why there's two of them. But
Because if you're a citizen of the imperial world, you are in the church.
Yeah.
And
Basically.
they're looking for problems within the church. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that one.
To be continued.
Yeah. The Ordo Scriptorum.
researches current plagues afflicting.
False.
What?
No.
Scriptorum.
Oh.
Monitors imperial records and communiques.
Oh, words. My screen on my phone is cracked and the letters were getting jimble jangled and
Jimble jangled. We've all been there. Who hasn't had a good jimble jangle every once in a while? These guys are... It's the post office.
But they're the ones who get mad at the post office clerks.
No. These guys are the post office.
No.
Yeah, totally.
No.
Totally.
No, because the
I
post
think
office
they're-
are the psychers.
I think...
That's
these-
your astropaths.
I think... Okay, fair enough. These guys are like reading all the messages that are coming through or whatever.
these guys are who's the guy who owns Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, and he's always reading your personal messages and oversees
yeah,
them.
that's these guys.
Yes.
Well, like, I would assume that there's like some small margin of error when you're sending like thousands or however many, like tens of
It's the
thousands of
warp.
messages.
There's no error. Everything is super predictable.
But like, if you, but it's just making sure that the astropaths are like doing things right. Because if like one word or two words are off, that can change this tide of a battle across the
it's
galaxy.
the worst
or whatever.
game of telephone
Yes,
ever.
actually, though. So to me, in a practical sense, that's what I see them doing. It's just
Interesting.
ensuring accuracy.
The Ordos Scriptus.
Kidnap Mark.
Research current plagues. False.
Oh no! Wait. Oh wow! They're all
Oh, is your
Is your screen cracked too, Micah?
yeah.
Brand new computer and your screen's cracked already.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I got the warranty though. I'll get it fixed.
The Ordo Scriptus oversees imperial historical records. Librarians.
Sure.
No, these are the guys that yell at the librarians.
A place for everyone and everyone in their place.
This book has been overdue for 10,000 years. That's
Don't
it.
make me get the Ordos Exorcium. The Ordo Senatorum.
Unknown purpose.
Unknown.
Senatorum kind of implies like,
Makes me think of a Senate.
yeah, or High Lords of Terror potentially.
Do you think there's an Ordos looking over the High Lords of Terror?
Why would
There's-
there not be?
Because there's an Inquisitor on the High Lords of Terror.
Yeah. Everyone needs
Lot.
somebody looking at their shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Just
That's true. You get enough Inquisitors in a circle looking over each other's shoulder, making sure everything's okay.
yeah.
Big old circle jerk of Inquisitors. Now, here we go, Mark.
There we go.
The Ordo Sepulturum.
Founded to police the Just kidding. Okay, researches current plagues afflicting the Imperium and determines how best to contain, destroy, or cure them. Created to investigate an increase in outbreaks of the zombie plague just before the 13th Black Crusade.
The interesting thing is, like, I would like the zombie plague just before the 13th Black Crusade. That sounds like a warp plague.
Yeah.
Right?
So I actually haven't heard of the zombie plague. What is it?
It's basically typhus goes around to a bunch of planets and like makes a bunch of. Oh, sorry, typhus is like a famous, Death Guard captain.
Okay.
He has like a model. He's like the champion of Nurgle, and he goes around and makes like this zombie.
Oh, okay,
plague.
yeah.
So he basically kills people and like turns them into zombies.
Cool.
But like, it's probably like the origins of that are obviously warp,
Oh,
which is cool. Like, is there like a real cure for that, or do
Yeah.
you need like a warp, like a psychic cure?
Well, Nurgle's like decay. It's like to a certain extent warp, but to a certain extent, I feel
think
like it is maybe curable.
I think it is curable.
You
I
think it exists
most of
naturally?
Nurgle's things are like biological plagues, right? Like they're not
Like magical warp plagues.
Yeah, yeah.
Although I'm sure there are maybe
like
a couple, but
you get an infection. That's like a curable thing. That is a Nurgle thing, right?
yeah.
It's not some warp magic that you have an infection. It's because you didn't clean your cut.
Yeah, that's Zinch. I don't know.
So I think the zombie pit plague, it's not curable. I don't think like that. How do you bring something back from the dead? You know,
Burn it.
burn.
Now okay, burning. I'm gonna say this once and for all. Burning zombies is a terrible idea in
I
a zombie
agree.
outbreak.
I agree.
Because now you just have zombies that are on fire.
Like great, if you're in the middle of the night and now you got a bunch of flaming zombies, you can save your
There you
flashlight
go.
battery.
Exactly,
That's
yes.
okay.
But no, what you just need is a bus. That's all.
But I don't think the zombie plague's curable. But they monitor all types of diseases. Like right now in Ultramar, they have this huge plague going around. They're probably
That Mortarion is spreading.
Yeah, and they're probably like figuring out like, is there a cure for that?
Is that the plague that Guilliman has to like personally be there or whatever?
That sounds pretty warped to me.
that one I'd say
that
is
one?
warp. But is that
one
Nurgle?
does, but that is Nurgle.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Mortarion.
Oh,
is his.
duh.
But
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think that's the major one that's going around right now. There's
Yeah.
two major
So,
ones.
but there totally was that plague though,
Yeah.
where they were cured if Gulliman stood next to them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
totally warped.
that one sounds warpy. But
And so
I think
then
the
it's like,
vast
Do
majority
you
of
think
them.
they're trying to combat that, and like they're getting like psychers and like priests to come, and
Guilliman should just cut off a finger and then they just go around touching people. With
it's
the
like a
finger.
holy relic,
Yeah.
right? I wonder if they tried that.
And clipped his fingernail.
Yeah,
Just-
Eat this.
You'll gain his power.
Dirty.
Okay, the Ordo Sicarius.
I don't want to read it.
All right. It was founded to police the activities of the Officio Assassinorum following the events of the Wars of Vindication, which resulted from the events of Goge Vandire's Reign of Blood.
Fancy. So
The Ecclesiarchy was using a lot of assassins against each other.
yeah.
And so now they're like, oh shit, like we probably shouldn't just let people use this however they want.
Yeah, I can't recall exactly, but I think you need permission to assassinate somebody.
Yeah, so there's like a vote and it has to be 75%.
Yeah.
And then you're like cleared for the assassination, but apparently like some inquisitors will kind of just like create a fake document from Terra where it's like, yeah, I got approval for this assassination, guys.
Yeah.
So they ask the Ordo Sicarius for permission?
Or the Order of Sicarius kind of like goes, I think they go to like the High Lords of Terror or something. Like they have to get permission from like a group and then 75% have
But
to
what
say yes.
group?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm terrible with that. Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to remember too. But like essentially anyone could hire an assassin to kill
Of course,
anyone.
this is using the
yeah,
Officio.
the official ones. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can hire an assassin inside of a factory.
Yeah.
No, but I mean like sorry. Yeah, so anyone like a factory worker could go to the official assassins like a Vindicar and hire them. But then this assassin would have to then report to the Ordo Sicarius and be like, can I actually assassinate?
Oh,
Where you could just hire some bum on the street and
Yeah.
then you don't need to go through the
kill
Ordo.
Bruce Wayne's parents, of course.
Yeah. Of
Yes,
course.
to create the greatest superhero of all time. Yeah.
Man bat. He's bit
And
by-
that and Robin Boy.
all right. Only two more Minoris Ordos. The Ordo Thanatos.
Unknown purpose.
Ooh, you're getting good at that.
Yeah.
He's learning.
So
And-
they're to stop Thanos, obviously, right?
Yes. My personal favorite Ordos.
Spoilers, the Avengers failed. So now the Inquisition steps in.
Right? No, not Thanatos. I'm done with that one. This next Ordos is my favorite. The Ordo Vigilis, and their sole purpose is to oversee the Ordo Necros,
Who have an unknown purpose.
on purpose. So that is literally an Inquisitor looking over the shoulder of another Inquisitor, who is looking over the shoulder of someone else.
What you
This
got?
is like a government bureaucratic nightmare.
It totally is.
It's just like bureaucracy after bureaucracy.
But the good thing about this is that these Ordos, like, they range in population from anywhere from like 5-6 Inquisitors up to like 50 or something. So it could be like for the entire galaxy, there's 6 guys responsible for this thing.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I could have sworn that there was like an Ordo that was like specifically for keeping an eye on the Inquisition itself, or is that
I
like
say one of those?
Hereticus, or did I just miss that? Or
Searching.
An Inquisition.
like somebody to do the whole like
the
check over your
Inquisitor's
shoulder.
watchdog.
I swear
You
there's
know what? I did not see anything like that.
huh.
I don't know. Maybe we should have done a little more research.
Nah.
Maybe I'm making stuff up, and you guys did a
Yeah.
great job.
That's probably not real.
And with that, support us on Patreon. And if you like what we do,
If you think we do a great job, if you think we bring value to the hobby,
Quality content.
spoiler alert, we don't.
so that kind of sums up the Ordos. Like, if somebody wanted to come up with like a backstory and like they wanted to make the Ordo spatula, sure. Like,
Okay, no, that's dumb.
well, you don't even know what they do.
Clearly, they're responsible for making sure you use the proper cooking utensils.
You do know what they do. But like, if somebody wanted to make up their own Ordo, perfectly fine.
Well, like,
this is
Depends
not
on the
a-
power level.
Well, thing is, that
Yes.
as the need arises, like that's how all of these came at some point. Is
yeah.
like a need arose, and so then like
Yeah.
the Ordo.
And yeah, like
made.
there's constantly more being made, and some are being destroyed if their
Yeah.
purpose gets fulfilled.
Yeah,
right?
or just like kind of shoved into the
Absolved,
back of
yeah.
history, and then maybe comes back when needed.
yeah. But like Eric said, like depending on the power level, like obviously
You can't
don't-
create another
Don't ever
Majoris.
write a Mary Sue character. That's just never
Yeah.
fun, you know, or a Tom Jane or whatever you call a male version of that.
Gary's too.
Gary Stu, sure.
Okay, so just double checking. Like Inquisitors aren't locked into a single Ordo, are they?
I'd imagine they can cycle between.
Yeah, because I mean, like Eisenhorn.
Don't
clearly-
even get me started.
Okay,
on
yeah,
that.
he's like definitely the exception. But I also read that they don't have to like sign up to a specific one,
No,
and that they
they
can just
don't.
kind of like be an Inquisitor, not under a specific Ordo, just kind of like going through the galaxy doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yes.
So long as
Of
it's
course.
for the
Yeah.
betterment
Like
of
the
humanity.
Ordos is if you. I would more like if the Inquisitor feels called to that purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're passionate about.
I
But that,
really want to watch the Ordo Necros. Go for it.
yeah. Like the Ordo Astartes, they oversee the Adeptus Astartes. Like that is a person who has decided like it's really
Yeah.
important to keep the relations good. But that doesn't mean they can't declare a random person a heretic.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah. You don't lose your power because you're
no,
specialized.
Of course not.
Yeah.
But I do think that some Ordos would attract a different type of person. Like the
Ordo spatula.
right. Okay.
The pedantic type.
Well, like you look at the Ordo Scriptorum, monitors imperial records and communiques. That
So if he's
you
on a
have to be like-
planet and a bunch of aliens attack, he's not gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not Xeno, so you know,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
exactly.
step back."
But
from
also, maybe he's incapable
that's true.
of doing that stuff.
Because there are some like a lot of Inquisitors are like badass. Like they just run around doing like crazy feats of like.
Right, but that doesn't mean every single Inquisitor
Exactly.
is a ridiculously amazing fighter or
Yeah.
super charismatic person.
Yeah.
Right? Like
They
you
each
could-
have their own strengths and they play to those
Exactly.
strengths.
Yeah, so you play to your strength. So if your strength is like you're super
Good with books.
organism, you know what? In a bureau,
I feel like I just know books. Like I can read.
books just make sense to me, man.
Books just. You ruined my joke.
I know. You're
I
welcome.
hate you. Forever and
Books
always.
don't make sense to you, Mark.
It's okay. Primaris Marines.
Ah, flip the table.
Is that a buzzword for him?
Well, for you, it's greater good.
True.
What's
True.
Jordan's?
Communists.
Communist. No, that's Christians.
That's Christians, yeah.
What was yours, Jordan?
Greater good, probably too.
Oh,
Good man.
and with that, I'm gonna tell you guys all about the Greater Good and the new Tower Army I'm starting.
Screw you and your indoctrination.
Yes, your lie. Let's talk about Inquisitors specifically now.
Yeah, because like we said, Inquisitors are actually the people enforcing all this stuff. So each one kind of has a wide role. Like if you're an Inquisitor of the Ordo Malleus, you kind of have a different role. But yeah, we'll talk about what they actually are. They have ranks and like different roles within their ranks and all that.
How they interact is very interesting with each other.
So, uh-oh, my phone skipped.
All right, so what we've got here is a loose interpretation of the organization of an inquisitorial grouping. These are a couple things that are just what you call inquisitors that get together.
Yeah.
So a conclave of inquisitors. There's nothing official about it because they're so autonomous.
Yeah.
So when a group of inquisitors, like when one guy calls a gathering of inquisitors, he's like, look, here's the problem. He puts the call out, like, who's going to answer the call?
Yeah.
And 5 other inquisitors are like, oh my gosh, I recognize the danger. I'm coming to help you out. This is now a conclave.
Yeah. And there are, in some cases, permanent conclaves within like a region or something where it's like a bunch of inquisitors are always hanging out in the same area. So then there's like a semi-permanent conclave that will like kind of work together.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like when Cadia was still around, like that would have been probably, they would have had a conclave watching that.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Or like any of the warp rifts really that were happening, they'd have someone. And,
even like big massive
Armageddon probably had a conclave.
Yeah. Any massive Xenos empire could probably have one. Like
There's someone watching the Tau. Anyways. If the conclave sets a committee to investigate a particular incident or matter, that committee is called a cabal. Not a kebab, but equally delicious.
But yeah,
don't knock it till you tried it.
So those 5 inquisitors showed up. Like this is a big threat. So they showed up, and then they actually formed.
And then
cabal.
and so then they'll figure out who's doing what within the team or whatever, and then like say only some of them end up doing it. I guess that would be the cabal.
Yeah, it's more like we know that there's a massive orc uprising. Okay, I need you to go look at this planet to see where the Space Hulk, where this is going, follow it, determine its location, send back. So 2 of them leave. That's your cabal.
Yeah.
Like there's no number limitation. Like a cabal is 2 or more.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then we have an ad hoc group of inquisitors who temporarily share a common goal,
which is called
that's a cell.
Yeah.
So these guys are just like you're investigating something and I'm investigating something separately, and we just happen to meet up and we're like, okay, our goals align for the moment,
together.
So let's work together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
I actually have a little infographic.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh,
that I'd
it's
like to share
stupid.
with you, and it kind of just describes how
In a simplistic terms.
very simple. It kind of describes the relations that a bunch of inquisitors would have with each other. So
There's a diagram. Can you
is.
post this to the Facebook or
no,
something
I'm
so
not
they
going
can
to.
see this?
I'm just going to describe it so well that you guys will just be able to picture it. In your
Paint us a
mind.
word picture.
All right, so you have Inquisitor A, right? And he's got
Let's call him Aldori.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Aldorai. Inquisitor A has got his retinue, right? But A, B, and C, all of these guys have their retinue, by the way. A, B, and C, they have formed a cell. They've temporarily met up and their goals align.
What was B's name?
I don't know, Bob?
Perfect. Okay. And what was C's name?
Christy.
Oh, a female.
A female.
She sounds
Why
hot.
not?
So
she sounds
inclusive.
What?
Is she hot?
Oh, well, does it matter? If you look at her with that, she's going to kill you.
I'm looking.
Well, you're dead. But for a moment...
She was hot.
She was hot.
She was hot.
It was the power and authority you were attracted to. That's all.
Okay.
Anyways, so they form the cell, A, B, and C. A and C, subsequently, they draw in Inquisitor D, who becomes indirectly known to Inquisitor B because they've had no actual contact, okay? Inquisitor C recruits
D.
Inquisitor E,
A name with
who
D.
technically becomes indirectly known to B
Derek.
and D.
A name with E.
Inquisitor D and E bring in Inquisitor F,
Nope,
who
that's
doesn't know
not a
actually
name.
any of the other ones. So now that
E.
A, B, C,
Elijah.
A, B, C, and D.
So we got A for Eldari. We got B for Bob.
I'm trying to explain how a cell works, Mark, okay?
It doesn't work. It's a rambled, jumbled mess. A doesn't know B, but he knows
It's
C.
so weird.
And C
So it's a
equals
whole
D.
bunch of shapes, and then there's like solid lines and dashed lines and dotted lines explaining the
And
different
they
types of relationships.
it's so
and some people
weird.
know other people, but they don't know other people, and
It's
then the
like-
acolytes know some people, but not others, and it's stupid.
It's like if Mark and
But what is good is somebody took the time to draw that.
It's like you and I know Micah,
Yeah.
right? So we bring him on this episode.
Yeah.
Jordan didn't know Micah before, let's say. But now all of a sudden, Jordan still doesn't know Micah, even though we're in the same room.
No, I
Interesting.
know him with a dotted line. What do you mean?
Exactly.
With a solid line.
Exactly. At some point, maybe it will change to a solid
Yeah,
line.
it's because we're further apart from the table, so
Exactly.
it's just
Honestly, it was the weirdest thing we came across like, while we were going.
so
Like
good.
so much detail put into that.
But such bullshit. Anyways,
The bureaucracy is so grimdark.
let's talk about inquisitorial ranks. So there's no official ranks. Nothing to give one inquisitor more authority over another
In
one.
an official capacity.
No official ranks. Okay? But that doesn't mean there aren't actual...
Official ranks.
Exactly. Welcome to the Imperium.
Yeah.
So the first one we're going to start with is an inquisitorial representative.
So this is going from top to bottom.
Yes, this is the most potential authority to the least potential authority. An inquisitorial representative sits on the High Lords of Terra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just an inquisitor who sits like
Yeah, and monitors
It's just his
them.
title, but
Yeah.
the reality is he's just an inquisitor.
Yeah.
Probably very respected.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of experience and a lot of history,
Yeah.
but in the end, just an
Yeah,
inquisitor.
when he goes back to the Inquisition,
Yeah.
after his
Yeah.
term as a High Lord is up, he's just
There's
an
no
Inquisitor.
guarantee that he's a master or a grandmaster,
Yeah.
right? Like maybe he goes back to his old post, but
air quotes just an inquisitor.
Yes.
it's all about perspective.
Yes.
The next one we have is a Grand Master.
And they're responsible for a sector or a sector conclave. So they're the ones actually calling other Inquisitors to like come check out this threat. Like
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh, one thing worth mentioning is that because like different inquisitors have like different skills or whatever, then that's why like you could have different conclaves and cells and stuff like that, because it's valuable to get all these different skills and like use everyone to their fullest potential
Right.
to all target the problem.
You got a lot of different contacts,
Yeah.
right? A lot of different information flowing. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure everything is covered. So you
Yeah. And so
get it
these
all.
guys would know who's in the area. They would know what they're good at, and then they would pull in who's best for
So
what's
C
needed.
doesn't know A.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
After a Grandmaster, you have a Master.
And if there is a high Ordo presence within a subsector, a leader of a conclave can be called Master.
Yeah. So the sectors, which are how many sectors are there?
There's 5, I think. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, 5 sectors in the entire galaxy. How they're broken up.
Yeah.
And then a subsector is obviously a portion of a sector.
Yeah, and there's no number of 27
Oh.
subsectors in a sector.
No, there'd be
yet.
so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, they would be responsible for an entire subsector. Okay? Pretty standard.
And conclaves aren't always like restricted based off of like geographical location.
Nope.
So then it may not have anything to do with subsectors or whatever.
No,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
There's no hard, fast definition
Yeah.
of what this is.
Yeah.
Next, we have the Inquisitor Lord, or the High Inquisitor.
A title of recognition amongst Inquisitors for individual power and authority. This is a formality more than an official position. So it's just a highly respected Inquisitor.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes. Again, just something you would earn over the course of your
Yeah.
career as
Yeah.
an Inquisitor.
Tenure for an Inquisitor.
Tenure, yeah. Once you reach tenure, if you survive 10 years as an Inquisitor, that's why the Ordo Scriptorum so like honored, because they see no combat, so they live forever. I've been Inquisitor for 70 years. Oh wow, what have you seen? A lot of notes.
Because that's the tenure that Mark meant.
Yeah, tenure.
Yeah.
Tender.
What?
I misspoke. What
That
is
makes
tenure?
even less sense. All right, next.
Seems like you have a very tenuous grasp on the English language. That's always sunny episode.
Well, you don't know a lot about bird law, so. And then at the very lowest, you have an Inquisitor. This is just your regular, average schmuck who
Yes.
thinks he can make
Second in command in the galaxy.
He thinks he can make the
Just your regular guy.
just your normal
Yeah.
You're John Deere, as you wrote.
John Doe, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Same thing. Doe, deer, female deer.
Exactly.
Ray. Golden sun.
We're both losers. That's
So underneath, like that's the lowest rank that you're officially an Inquisitor, but they do have acolytes, which are basically Inquisitors.
in training.
Yeah, in training, but they're not officially recognized as Inquisitors.
No, of course they have no. Well, talking with my shirt on my head, they have no actual authority.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's the main difference.
Yeah.
They're going to go through all the same stuff as the Inquisitor, but they can't order anything.
Yeah, but they're in training, and usually they come from the Schola Progenum, and we've talked about this before, where it's like that orphanage.
Yeah, that's the orphanage run by the ecclesiarchy.
Yeah, and they're responsible for commissars, Tempestus Scions,
Yeah.
and Inquisitors.
It's where the Inquisition draws, or it's where like the Imperium really draws like
Notable men and women.
Yeah.
But they can really be taken from anywhere. Like an Inquisitor goes onto this planet, he finds like a feral worlder who has like high intellect or something, you know, and he's like,
Or fills a very specific purpose, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
they speak the language, so he's like, well, I'm going to be in this sector for 30 years.
yeah,
So I need someone.
yeah.
Right?
And then over 30 years, he's like an acolyte, and eventually he
trains him to be an Inquisitor.
Yeah. So it can really be anything,
Anything and everyone, whatever the Inquisitor fancies.
as long as you're human. 9 fingers, 10 toes. As long as. Right? No? Okay.
In order for an acolyte to be raised to the rank of an Inquisitor, 3 Inquisitors have to come in agreement that they deserve this rank, or 1 Inquisitor Lord or High Inquisitor has to say that they are worthy.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the authority difference between the High Inquisitor and Lord Inquisitor, is he can actually make a new Inquisitor by themselves.
Yeah. Worth noting as well is that like there are times where like the situation would demand, like say there's an acolyte under an Inquisitor, that Inquisitor dies, then there's the potential for that acolyte to gain that title or whatever.
Yeah. This is correct and true.
Yeah.
I have nothing
Verified.
further to add.
Just as like the situation demands without the vote. And then if like a couple Inquisitors
Can that
were...
title ever be stripped away?
Yes. So if Inquisitors like were like, what the heck? He was only an acolyte for like 3 days, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Then they can easily just strip it away. But I assume it'd probably take the same vote, 3 or 1, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know
Maybe
about
just
how
another
that vote.
Inquisitor.
I just know that it can be vetoed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then under our acolytes, we have inquisitorial warbands.
So the Inquisition can draw from a wide variety of people. Like they can draft Imperial Guard regiments, like whole regiments, or they might draft like a certain Xenos. Like there's even like the Jokeros. Like Inquisitors will have them, even though they're Xenos, and
Demon
they will
hosts.
use them. Demon hosts, like they can really have anything they want in the warband. They could just even take like some type of comms officer, you know, postal worker, whatever they want. Like
Because everything that they do has a very specific purpose.
Exactly.
They're very driven and focused.
yeah. So, yeah, there's not really much to say about warbands. Like, well,
No.
there's an infinite amount of things to say, really, because there's an infinite variety of it. But
The reality is
Do
they're going to fill out their retinue and their warband with
Yeah.
exactly what they need and whatever they find useful.
yeah, we just don't have 3 Inquisitors around to verify if we can continue to talk about this
Right,
topic.
absolutely. We
so,
just need special permissions.
yeah. So we'll carry on.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into a little more of the philosophical side of the Inquisition. There are 2 major schools of thought when it comes to how you should comport yourself as an Inquisitor. There are the Puritans, who believe in following every single law that the Imperium has ever set forward. So if the law says, like, thou shalt not cross the street on Sundays, and
From 3 p.m. to 4.
exactly, then if he's chasing like a guy, like maybe he won't cross the street if he views it like, oh no, I can't break the law for
Yeah.
this.
Like they believe that as like a sign of corruption to your very soul.
Of course, anyone who's willing to break the law is probably worthy of being a heretic.
Yeah.
Whereas radicalism
they only cross the street on Sunday from 3 to 4.
It's worth it. Radicalism believes that it doesn't matter what the method is as long as the end justifies it.
Yeah.
So they will do anything. And like you would,
You're trying to stop some aliens? You call on chaos. You're trying to stop chaos? You team up with the aliens.
well, that's actually what it is. Like, I don't think you'd ever see a Puritan resort to using a demon host.
No.
But I do think it is something a radical would not hesitate to use.
Yeah.
What do we think about a Puritan using a Jacaro?
No.
No. I don't think they would.
Xenos alliances.
Yeah, no, I think that would be true too.
Anything that
It's-
falls outside.
Yeah, it's just funny to think that that's a radical person.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when you look at like of course, that's a radical.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So within like Puritans and radicals, it breaks down even further. And like some of these are actually super interesting.
Oh, and very unique.
Yeah, yeah, and like
And to think that you take this as like your mantra almost.
yeah.
Like your personal conviction is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just sometimes just like how deep 40K can go.
Yeah.
Like they'll make graphs of cells. They'll also make 100 different philosophies for Inquisitors, you know?
But
For me, it's like Google Earth when you start out with the Earth and then like you're like on Lexicanum and then you're like zooming in slowly and then you can like
and you click the next link and then you click the next one.
and then you're going from like satellite height down to like provincial and then city and then you're looking through someone's window. Like that's what this
how,
more
how many people's windows are you staring through?
Who can count?
More
Okay,
than you
thanks.
should.
This has been Laura. Bye.
Let's we're gonna go over some of the Puritan subfactions. So the Amalathians.
Can we get Mark to pronounce all of these?
No, because it's just I'm gonna have to do it, and if you don't have time to do it well, don't do it at all.
Well, I better just give up on life. What am I supposed to do now?
I read this.
Wow, you Puritan.
I read this funny thing. It was like, if you don't have the time to do it well, what makes you think you have the time to do it a second time?
That's true.
Right? I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
That's not my philosophy when it comes to being an electrician.
What is your philosophy when it comes to being an electrician?
I try to spend the most amount of time sitting in an outhouse looking at my phone.
On
And
Warhammer.
Yeah, and if it's not 3 to 5 hours a day, I'm not doing it right.
Also, my philosophy when it comes to sex.
If you're not on the
If you're not doing it in an outhouse with your phone,
No, no.
3 to 5 hours.
for 3 to 5 hours.
No.
you're not doing it right.
If you're not doing it well the first time.
What makes you think you have the time to do it twice?
Classic.
I like it. All right. Let's talk about some Amalathians, though. These guys believe that the Emperor has a grand plan and that it is unfolding as it should.
And honestly, like if I was an Inquisitor, I would fall under this. Because like you've heard me talk about like this many times actually, where I think the Emperor knew the whole time and orchestrates every little detail.
Every single thing that has been involved with him has been done for a reason, and he's pulling the strings.
But would you use a Jokero?
For what?
Doesn't matter.
A furry companion? For sure.
Furry
Are
companion,
dogs heresy?
crazy
Probably.
digital weapons, whatever it is.
Hey, if he happens to make a crazy digital weapon and gifts it to me, great. But that's not why I use
That's
him.
radical.
I use him to cuddle at night.
That's radical.
That is
that's
that's-
extremely radical.
I have time to do it. Multiple. I don't know the saying. I do it twice.
Oh boy. Do you want to do the next one, Mark? Or Jordan? Would you like to?
Animalian beholders.
Sure.
Yeah. What do they believe?
It is their goal to observe humanity and await the Emperor's incarnate arrival.
Okay, so they just hang out and wait for the Emperor to come back.
And
Yeah.
make sure that nothing is stopping that, I
Yeah.
guess, I would
Yeah.
assume. Yeah. Hey, you're trying to go in the Golden Throne to kill the Emperor? I'm going to have to stop you there, bud.
Hold on.
Let me see your paperwork.
The Ardentes, Ardentities.
Ardentities.
Identities.
That's how it's spelled, guys.
They believe that the power of the God Emperor is likely to manifest either through a group or more likely through the entirety of mankind itself.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, like
It has
the
a very-
Emperor is inside of all of us.
Exactly.
Like,
And when we are united, then that's when our divinity shines through. It's super cultish.
we're the change we need.
Oh boy. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
I definitely heard chains.
Yeah. Be the chains. Hold the world down.
Next would be monodominant, and they believe that the Imperium and only the Imperium should be allowed to exist.
That's definitely an aspect of the Emperor, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very xenophobic.
Extremely. But I don't know if he like actually hated Xenos. He was just like, we can't exist with that threat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he allowed nothing to threaten humanity.
So probably fun guys to be around.
Well, if you're human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we are. 9 fingers, 10 toes.
Whew, I've got all 9. Thorians. Thorians believe that the Emperor's spirit can be transferred into another host, referred to as a divine avatar. So that's the farmer.
Oh yeah! This is me actually. This is what I believe.
This is what you
the
believe.
Emperor's banging the farmer's wife.
And all you're doing is traveling the galaxy trying to find him. So
Yes.
satisfying.
Yes. I'm such a simple soul. Such a simple mind.
So I just wanted to go back to the
titties.
Animalian beholders.
okay.
So they believe that their goal is to observe humanity and await the Emperor Incarnate's revival. They almost sound like resurrectionists from the crappy way that the
the lore.
the story behind the
History,
Inquisition.
yeah.
Inquisition. So
Yeah,
that's,
okay.
I almost wonder like if we're going to see the opposites of that in the radicals. It just kind of shows me that they totally recycled that lore.
Yeah.
That they're like, okay, take the aspects we like about it and then
Yeah.
just get rid of all the garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like the Thorians, they're very similar. Where they were based off Sebastian Thor. Like they believed that like he had like the Emperor running or living through him.
Yeah. Sebastian Thor being.
He fought off Gorge Van Dyer. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's just a regular guy.
Yeah.
But he like rose up from seemingly out of nowhere
Yeah.
to like get the entire galaxy
Yeah.
behind him.
Yeah.
It was a very, very quick rise to power.
Yeah.
But
So it's just nice to see that all of these usually have like that doesn't make sense. All of them usually have
and you said it anyway.
some type of backing in the lore. They're not just
A
like
tie-in.
let's come up with 10 different things. Okay, this one like they all actually stem from some type of lore that has already existed.
So during Sebastian Thor's like rise, that's when the Thorians came into being.
Yeah,
one
like-
would assume.
yeah, exactly.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the Puritan subfactions that we have listed. Let's go to the radical subfactions.
Anti-Cordy.
Mm-hmm.
Focused on discovering patterns and events in the past to predict the future.
Super radical.
I could
Yeah.
see. I honestly can see why that's radical.
Oh, yeah.
because focusing on discovering patterns and events, a lot of that is going to be delving into warp stuff, and I feel like a Puritan does not like warp stuff,
Sure.
right?
Even if you're doing like just based off like statistics change. Like 1 in a million happens 1 in a million times. You can't just say that 1 in a million never happens because only it happens once. Like
Sure.
so then to cancel out all of those.
I'm just trying to run through that sentence in my head.
Yeah.
Sure, it might not make sense.
But that's what it is about being a radical.
No, but like you can't just because it's only going to happen once. You've still got to give it that opportunity to happen. And that's why they're radical, because they don't give it that opportunity to happen.
Oh, okay.
They might see that
Like it's such some odds it wouldn't happen. These are the more likely things. So plan
so
around that.
they plan around that. And if like they're like, oh well, I've seen this pattern of planets fall into chaos before. I'm going to stop it now. Where that's pretty radical. You might want to wait and hope.
Right,
that-
Yeah, that's true. Like Minority Report, where it's like
exactly.
Like you're stopping it before it happens, based off of what you already know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be warp, but
Whereas
yeah.
like an Amalathian, a Puritan would
Yeah.
be like, no, like those planets need to fall to chaos,
Yeah.
so someone can rise up and save it or whatever, because everything is happening to the Emperor's grand design.
Sure.
Right? Interesting. Okay, Jordan, what's our next one?
On the radical subfaction.
Yeah.
The Cassophilians. They dedicate their studies to the transition of a human soul from this world to the next.
That's pretty radical.
Super warpy, yeah. That's...
I wonder. I should click on their link. I wonder what they think happens to souls.
Well, you know what? You read Horisians.
Okay, Horisians believe that the power of chaos that manifested in the War Master Horus might be harnessed for the creation of a divine avatar.
Which would be the reincarnation of the Emperor.
Could be.
So they literally want to turn to chaos to get a reincarnation of the Emperor. That's not going to go poorly.
Well, a lot of people.
Radical idea.
A lot of people would view like the Imperium not as pure chaos, but as energy to be wielded.
Yeah, and I think that's what these guys kind of... They think that they can control the warp when the warp is its own thing.
And there are like psyker inquisitors and stuff like that, like Eisenhorn is. And so I guess, makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. Okay, so the next one.
Istvanism, I guess, named after the planet.
Yep.
Believe conflict is desirable to further progress through strife.
This one's actually pretty cool. Me and Eric were talking about it earlier, and like most technological advances like get started because
Through
of
war. Yeah, like that's why we went to space, was like Cold War. Yeah.
Well, like the majority of medical advances were all created due to like World War I and World War II. And like one of
the Nazis.
I mean,
Mengele.
It's
Google
horrific how it happens, but it doesn't change the
happens.
fact that at this point it's saved way more lives than any of that research ever harmed.
We have the
Are you a Nazi sympathizer, Eric?
We have the internet.
Do I need to say no to that?
I think you do.
Well, then no, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just calmed all.
There we go.
Everything I had. I was worried for a minute.
But yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very cool
technology has
idea.
been pushed so far by war.
Yeah. So like another tie-in, like the Istvanian, you kind of mentioned it. Like it's named after a planet.
Yeah.
It was like the first major battle of the Horus Heresy, where,
like
a bunch of loyalists were killed out of the Traitor Legion chapters.
But
legions.
The thing I don't get is that like technology has declined. Like the Imperium, I feel like has gotten pretty objectively worse. But they're still like, Istvan.
Conflict is good.
That was some great stuff that happened then. Humanity's ripped in half.
Interesting point. I guess that's why they're radical.
It makes sense. No, but I do like that whole idea, like war breeds innovation.
Yeah. Eric, did you find anything about
I did.
Yeah, okay. So what do they think that the soul happens? What happens to the soul?
So Saint Cassophili was a living saint, but obviously was not a living saint because most aren't. Anyways, he died.
Yes.
And 5 days later came back to life. So then he becomes the living saint, right? So what happened was during those 5 days, he described his body floating in a nether, and then a warm, bright light suffused everything around him. He felt, super safe, warm
and sticky.
Exactly, yeah. Everything you would expect to feel when the
Emperor's soul cuddling him.
Exactly. And then brings him back. So he believes that the ones who have knowledge of how to do this are demons. Because they commonly transition from the realm of the living to the warp, which is actually what he was doing.
So then, by his own logic, he's a demon?
No, what this group determines to do then is to learn the arts of demonology, specifically ritual summoning. They don't really do possession or hosts. They just try to summon a demon, and they're trying to learn their secrets and how they could potentially summon a human soul back from the warp into the body that had recently left.
Crazy.
Very cool.
So, and they believe that when they actually attain this goal, it's the first step to bringing the Emperor back from the warp. So they believe that like they're on an Emperor-given mission.
Yeah.
Because the Emperor was the one who brought Cassophili back, and so he's the one who's like, it's possible.
Yeah.
Show us,
And that's something too. Also, like we just kind of wrote like short descriptions. So if any of these like kind of jump out at you, they all have huge articles on Lexicanum. So if any of them jump out, like go read more about them because we're skipping so much.
Oh yeah, so much.
But
we don't have time for that.
Wow.
4 episodes. Don't got time for that.
Let's do the next one. Libricars. They believe in the widespread purging of all imperial institutions of corruption and heresy, no matter how minor.
It's probably a good thing. There's
Which-
a lot of...
To me, it almost sounds like that would technically fall under the Puritans, which means that it has to be their methods or something that's like making them radical, right?
Well, killing everyone that is...
Corrupt.
Well, corrupt is a fickle term. It doesn't necessarily mean like
Yeah.
chaos corruption. It could just mean...
Like, are you taking an extra 2 off the top of your tax collecting?
Yeah.
To pad your own pockets? Technically, that's corruption,
I guess.
but it's not. It's not
But it-
chaos
not- yeah.
corruption.
It could
it's not the
even-
corruption of your soul.
Yeah. But it could even just be like they're upholding laws that screw over the people. Like, but these laws are like 10,000 years old and they're just going by the law.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't have to be...
Yeah, and here it says no matter how minor.
Yeah, that's true.
So these are radical in that they allow zero
Yeah. Like-
tolerance. To me, that's kind of radical.
The overly
'Cause they're-
strict parent that has messed up kids.
Yeah, exactly. The oblationists.
They believe that the warp, the xenos, and the unclean are utterly damning, yet their use is necessary to overcome mankind's enemies.
Demon hosts.
Demon hosts, Xenos weapons, like they're...
Jokeros
Chocobos.
beside them in their retinues creating digital weapons.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah. So these are the guys that are using xenos to kill chaos and chaos to kill xenos.
So this is where you fall then, Micah, since this is your
You're an
thing.
oblationist?
I don't know. Demons would be scary. Like, you're locked in the room with the demon host. I'd be freaked out.
Your will is weak.
They're not locked
Yeah.
in here. I'm not locked in
But
here.
I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. That's what you got to tell the demon host.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Batman. No,
Joker.
Batman.
And that.
Oh,
That's
that's
the
Joker?
Yeah.
No, that's not. That's Rorschach.
Oh my
What?
Gosh, yeah, you're right.
You guys. Losers. Don't even know this crap. Anyways. The Ocularians. Marcus?
They're obsessed with predicting and... Did we do this one?
Nope.
They're obsessed with predicting and divining the future through arcane rituals.
The difference being
Yeah.
the other one's looking for statistics. And
Yeah.
this
This one's
one's
arcane.
is using
Yeah.
like Emperor's Tarot,
Yeah.
reading
Yeah.
warp flows, getting
Yeah.
visions.
Okay.
So one is like patterns and events, the other one is like warp,
Interesting.
arcane, magic-y, psyker stuff.
Yeah, I could see how that's radical. Or radical.
Yes, absolutely. Because, like, would you trust a warp vision?
Yes. I get them every night. I love them. They're phenomenal.
Ugh. Sleeps like a baby.
Sleeps like a baby.
Phananites.
Believe in the rebirth of the Imperium under their own leadership.
They have been excommunicade as treacherous.
Because they literally wanted to take over the Imperium.
Makes sense.
Hey, they were
sense.
number 2. They just wanted to be number 1.
Oh, there's still a lot of them left.
Are there?
Yeah.
All right, let's
What?
keep going
No,
then.
there's not. Oh, yeah, there is.
Polypsychana.
Polypsychana, believing in the ascension of humanity into a purely psychic race.
I
I can see that.
Through
I
killing
would-
everybody.
Yeah, I would assume that would mean purging the non-psychers, right?
You could. One could say that. I don't know. That would be an extremely radical Inquisitor, right? Whereas a different one who's maybe not as radical is more like creating breeding programs.
And limiting other breeding.
Right, absolutely. So it's not necessarily purging in the...
Just letting them die out.
Exactly. Just a Darwinism
Yeah.
focus on it. Like, well, if you can't go in there to get the food, maybe you should have been a psyker. You know? Let's talk about the recongregationism.
Nice.
Believe in the Imperium. Believe that the Imperium should be rebuilt, lest it stagnate further and collapse under the pressure of countless threats from both within and without. It's funny that this is radical. Like, to look at the Imperium and be like, no, this seems to be working. Yeah, no, the Ordo Necronis looks over. That makes sense.
Well, could you imagine what would happen if they tore down all the bureaucracy of the Imperium?
Oh, it's
That's
not
the
a
radical
good
Like
thing,
Goleman
for
came
sure.
back and he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
even-
it,
even
it
him,
needs to
he
be
didn't
done.
fix it.
Yeah.
But I can't do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even he, like, who is now the
So these
number
Inquisitors
one.
have more balls than
Well, that's because Gulliman doesn't have any balls, because he has no need for his sexual organs.
Yeah, why? Like, it's technically not even a he.
Jordan. Do you think Space Marines have dicks?
Spacemen have dicks. Do Primarchs have dicks?
No, they're vat babies. Why? What do they need them for?
If they're males.
I'm pretty sure that 40K neither confirms nor denies this statement.
But we're asking you, Jordan.
Yeah, what do you
we
think?
need a definitive...
When you imagine them
I can
naked,
neither confirm nor deny.
I just want to know,
statement.
when you are thinking of Primarchs in compromising scenarios with each other or other things,
Including yourself.
how do you imagine the lower half of their body? How do you imagine it?
Muscular.
Just smooth like a Ken doll?
Yeah.
No.
Whoa, he's got something then. Right now, what do you picture?
I would think you'd like. I would think you'd need like some sort of testosterone to be.
We can just inject a testosterone patch on
like
him.
I suppose, but we don't know that there is a testosterone, intravenous testosterone being pumped into their bodies.
They get
right?
so many combat drugs.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
stims.
Yeah.
Anyways, derailed. All right.
Revivicators.
No.
No.
Revivificators.
Oh, yeah.
Their goal is to study the transition of the soul to the warp at the moment of death.
Oh, that's cool.
That seems very similar to the other one.
Except the Cassiphilians are attempting to bring souls back from the warp, whereas these ones, I believe they're more just watching people die.
Yeah, or killing them themselves. Like,
Again.
okay,
wait-
kill that guy and we'll try to claim his... didn't work.
Well,
Yeah,
well, once
exactly.
again, I would assume that they have like some purpose behind this. Like they aren't just like, hey, let's see what happens.
Well, of
Kill
course.
somebody.
Immortality, maybe.
Yeah, immortality
Like if you
or-
could capture the soul and put it into a robot body.
How do we deny power to chaos?
Sure, that's another
Right.
good one, yeah.
Okay.
Of course, if anyone ever does Way of Kings, what's his name?
Jack.
No,
Jill.
Sargandians? I don't know. He's the crazy king who's super smart and super dumb at the same time, and he was killing everyone. Okay, let's go on.
Farlow, man.
Seculus Attenduous.
They maintain that the ecclesiarchy is hampering and holding back mankind, and therefore they seek to reduce its power and influence where possible. Which
Interesting. It's like
that's what the emperor actually wanted. He didn't want
Yeah.
the ecclesiarchy.
Oh well, no, it never existed with him.
Or he did want the ecclesiarchy.
Wink, wink. He didn't want it. Wink.
Yeah. Okay.
Xanthism.
Advocates the use of warp-based weaponry such as demon-possessed swords, demon hosts, and generally turning the power of chaos against
I
itself.
feel like this is Eric.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like I
He's
agree
he's
with
the Grey
that.
Knight. Yeah. Like he really likes hating demons, you know?
And using them against himself, but we all know he's not strong enough to withstand their corruption.
He's a ginger. He has no soul. He's good.
Oh, interesting.
He's
I'm
immune.
a blank.
Oh, that's why I'm always so uncomfortable around you.
No, that would make me a pariah.
Oh.
It's the touching that makes you uncomfortable.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you just stop that.
Yeah, that's just my choice.
Yeah.
I do it by choice. I choose to make him uncomfortable. And then the last one we have here is the Xenohybris.
Believe that mankind must learn from both the achievements as well as the mistakes of Xenos.
So you can definitely see why these are radical,
Sure.
right? Like
Saying that
definitely
Xenos did something good.
exactly like or that like we can learn from the Xenos,
Yeah.
or that we can use chaos, or that, like that's honestly very radical.
Guys,
ideas.
frankly, the Harlequins plays are way better than ours.
They
we'll
have
just go
music and
we'll just go
sound.
intern under them. They use like psycho grenades and stims.
Crazy drugs. Crazy drugs at the
Guys,
parties.
tell me you've been to a Harlequin show. Shit's whack. It's lit. It's lit.
Ugh.
Super lit.
Please no, what would that term be? A pop? No, not a pop reference.
Pop culture?
No.
No.
What do you call one of those words that people use for a month and it's so fucking annoying, but everyone's like, lit, that's a cool word. Now I'm going to say this photo's lit. What do
I
you
don't know.
call that? A loser?
A word?
A
Slang?
word?
It's not
No,
slang.
no, like,
Lit?
you know what I'm saying though? Like, lit's not going to be, no one's going to say lit in a couple months from now.
Dude, it's probably in the dictionary
Oh, yes.
at this point
Does
with that definition.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that it's one of those words that people are hopping on right now. What do you call that?
I don't know. There definitely is a word.
Fad? Maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
That's the closest that I'm gonna get to it right now.
So, don't. That's all I'm saying.
This party was way too lit.
Oh, jeez.
Too lit.
That's
Okay.
it. That's it. We're talking about inquisitorial punishment, and for you saying lit, this is gonna happen to you. Every example.
All right. So inquisitorial punishment is anything and everything that an inquisitor deems is necessary to stop you from doing what you're doing.
Yeah. You steal an apple. You are now a heretic because you're stealing from the emperor himself.
Of course, yes.
Absolutely.
Bolter to the face.
Absolutely. We're gonna make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah. But they can be like super extreme or super lenient depending on the inquisitor and depending on the offense. Like lots of time, I think if you upset the Inquisition, you're gonna get turned into like a servitor, like a servo skull, or you're just gonna get, you know,
They remove your like free will and they just
Yeah.
turn you into a machine that's
yeah,
capable of doing something.
exactly.
That's a pretty big punishment.
It is, yeah.
I would not want to piss off an inquisitor.
I think that would happen the most because like
It's just such an easy thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And now
like,
you're serving the Imperium.
yeah. Like if you just went into like an ancient Xenos temple by accident and, you know, you weren't like trying to do anything. You were just like an archaeologist or something, you know, just.
Yeah. Maybe at this point the Inquisitor is trying to save you.
Yeah.
Because their job is to protect
Yeah.
the citizens.
Yeah.
So.
You don't need to kill the guy because he didn't do anything that bad. You just need to lobotomize them.
Of course, yeah.
But-
You just need to wipe his brain. Right? Because some psyker Inquisitors would do that. So
Yeah.
it's literally anything and everything the Inquisitor deems. We have a good story, actually, about Inquisitor punishments.
Do we?
Yes. Of course.
Oh yeah, from the RPG.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So back when we played Death Watch?
I think it was.
Or was
I,
it Astral Wardens?
I don't know which one we're talking about.
I think it.
Oh, that would have been Death Watch.
Yeah, it was
So we were
early
playing
on,
Death
yeah.
Watch, and we were just a bunch of Marines. And we had like a guy in our group who, for some reason, never understands consequences.
Social cues.
So we were like, we're dealing with an Inquisitor, and me, I was playing a little bit too like spineless, but I was
A little too.
okay.
That was a reference of Eric sucking a wiener for those who didn't get that, who's never
Okay.
experienced that sound.
I hurt so much.
So you were doing that. You were gurgling.
Okay, so we're trying to like listen to the Inquisitor, and he told us like to do something, and we're like, yes, of course, like no problem. And no, we were listening to him because he threatened to kill us all because we had seen something.
Because
Yeah.
you guys summoned a demon prince.
That wasn't me.
Doesn't matter.
I was just trying to save my life. anyways, the Inquisitor tells us to do something. We all agree to it, and then we leave. And then the Inquisitor is in his room, and Paul, he's like, I'm gonna go talk some sense into that Inquisitor. So he goes to like the Inquisitor's private quarters, knocks on the door, Inquisitor opens it, and Paul's like, you listen here, bud. And the Inquisitor's like, step into my room. And then it was like the next time we saw him, his entire jaw had been ripped off.
Yeah.
And his voice was now run through like a voice modulator. Like, oh my god,
That could be silenced.
Yeah, at any
Talk-
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
So good.
so that's the Inquisition.
Yeah.
Don't and we were Space Marines
Yeah.
in the Inquisition's debt
Yeah.
and their palm.
But yeah, like we mentioned it before, like they can exterminate entire planets if they deem that's necessary. Like they can really punish you any way they see fit.
Can I mention one that I really like?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's the penitent engine where they
Oh,
take
yes.
you, they basically like put a whole bunch of wires and tubes and stuff into you, and then they chemically make you feel as guilty and terrible as possible, and then they put you inside this mech basically, and then you like fight out of like this permanent feeling of guilt basically, and then you
Terrible.
fight to like recompense for your sins.
Which you never can because you're so
No,
guilty.
no, like chemically induced guilt.
Welcome to the Imperium.
Yeah. Another punishment could even be like you're now part of my warband.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Work off your debt.
Yeah,
or something.
Exactly.
Penal legions.
Penal legions, yeah. There's a wide variety.
Anything and everything.
Yeah.
For something with absolute power, the only limitation to their punishments is their imagination.
Yeah,
Whatever they
pretty
want,
much.
Yeah.
they can do. Okay. Now that we've gone over that, let's go over inquisitorial gear.
Anything and everything.
Anything and everything. Are you a radical or are you a Puritan? If you're a Puritan, probably you're using all stuff that the Imperium has made. You're
And
using
blessed.
and
Yeah.
blessed, absolutely.
Twice.
Thrice blessed, dipped in the blood of the Sisters of Battle.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, like there's plenty of examples of like Inquisitors using like Xenos weaponry, or just doing
Or chaos weaponry.
Chaos
right?
weaponry.
We listed a couple of those Ordos, or no, radicals, sub-factions that use them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was the Xanthinism?
Yeah, I think that one. Yeah. But like they can also like pretty much call upon anyone in the Imperium. So they can call upon entire Imperial Guard regiments to fight beside them. They can literally call upon anything.
Yeah.
The Astartes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, like they'll technically ask, but there's the authority that comes with that ask.
And if the situation is important enough, like the Astartes like better listen.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're like, hey, I lost my puppy and I need to requisition 10 Astartes to find it, and the Astartes are going to say no, like you have no actual reason.
Yeah,
exactly.
You better have a reason.
But yeah, so they can really get a hold of anything they want. One thing that is always a misconception about 40K that I find a lot of the time is when people see Inquisitors in power armor, they assume that they are Space Marines. You can wear power armor and not be a Space Marine.
You just don't have the black carapace. Right?
Yes.
So you just can't fully integrate the same way a Space Marine can.
Yeah. But you can wear power armor.
Power armor is literally just armor with a power pack.
Exactly. And that's one thing that people never quite get for some reason. Or, well, not everyone, but you know what I mean. I'm sure you've come across that too.
Of course, yeah, like, yeah. Even for me, when I first was looking at Inquisitors and you see power armor, I was like, oh, like Space Marines are Inquisitors, but no, there aren't Space Marine Inquisitors.
We've even seen Inquisitors in Terminator armor, and that one really gets people going. So,
so good.
Tactical dreadnought armor.
They can get anything they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
It's worth noting.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Words?
Of course.
Well, right now, okay, Mark has like a suit of like medieval armor, and I just want to tape like a battery to it and call it power armor.
Well, we taped the battery to my sword, so it's a power
right,
weapon.
A car
okay.
battery.
Yeah.
And then you bolt the car battery into the back of your armor, and that's your power pack.
There you go.
It's not sealed, but you know.
Can we do anything with my nipples in this situation?
Probably. We could probably cut some holes where your nipples are.
Perfect.
Take some two little you want the clamps? You're gonna get the clamps.
But yeah. So that's really
It's hot in this room, boys.
You already took off your sweater. You didn't take off the shirt?
No, I'm not, but I am sweating. Gosh.
But yeah, like with Inquisitors, like and in the Inquisition in general, like you said, like your imagination is the limit. Like whatever you want, I'm sure you can find something in the Inquisition for. Yeah. So next point is the Inquisition and the Mechanicum. It's actually quite interesting that the Inquisition, as we know, the Mechanicum is not technically a part of the Imperium. It is, but it isn't. But the Mechanicum definitely follows their own goals that can often be different than the Imperium's goals. Yeah. So there have been many examples of the Inquisition like monitoring the Mechanicus and making sure that they are actually still like serving the greater Imperium. There's been examples of the Inquisition like when the Mechanicum find like STCs, and if they're corrupted, like the Inquisition might go in there, and like there's actually been wars fought over like STCs.
Of course,
like,
they're
and
so
corruption.
valuable.
And like literally, there's been like a 10,000-year secret war between these two factions. Because the other thing we know too, the Imperium doesn't like advancing technology because everything's so religious based and like it's so controlling and stuff that the Inquisition will have like witch hunts for what they call tech heretics, or there's something like that. Yeah. But they will literally like hunt down these like members of the Mechanicum who are going a little too far in one direction of technological advancement, or maybe somebody's working on
such thing.
or somebody's working on like a new AI protocol or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
that is definitely
like the Inquisition is watching, and there have been many wars fought in secret. And it's kept a secret because like they don't want, neither side wants an outright war, right?
Yeah. No, that would not be good.
You can't afford it.
Exactly. But there are plenty of examples of this happening, of the Inquisition and the Mechanicum fighting.
Yeah.
Oh, and worth mentioning, I don't know if we did, but like Inquisitors sweep anything under the rug that they want. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
yes.
like whatever happened, they just like wiped out like an entire system. They leave. It's like, oh yeah, there's this crazy warp storm, guys. Like, like
Oh, orcs.
Orcs got to
orcs.
him.
Had to firebomb
Darn
them.
Tyranids.
Yeah. So like anything that they do,
Yeah.
they can sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
Like lost history and stuff. And so that's like some of the smaller ordos where they try and track the history and stuff. Like
yeah.
everyone's actively shoveling that
Yeah.
stuff under the carpet. Like
Yeah. So yeah, and they don't want that huge war to get out. So
Yeah,
it is
it's just
shoved
swept under the rug.
Yeah, exactly. Not to say that when Inquisitors look at Mechanicum, they're like instantly coming to blows. Or
Yeah,
anything.
no,
There's
no.
just been examples of it happening. But yeah, so that's kind of that. There was actually quite a few examples that my buddy gave me, and some of
The
them.
Shadow War is weird, man.
It's very cool.
It's weird. I was reading it right now.
Yeah.
So it talks about like the Inquisition will gather from the Mechanicum data tapestries. So exactly like how the Adeptus Astartes have to give a tithe
Yeah.
of their gene seed, so do the Mechanicum have to give a tithe of data to the Imperium.
Data.
Data or data?
Doesn't matter. Carry on. Sorry, Eric.
either works.
So they have to give a tithe.
Yeah.
But the Mechanicus doesn't want to give this up. So they write in self-deletion protocol, like programs into the data that they hand over. And then the Imperium, the Inquisition, they take this stuff, they activate it. All of a sudden now these programs are deleting like this data, and the Inquisition that like they knew they did it, they're like, oh shoot, like this is our fault for like accepting this and like starting this program. And now they're like, well, we need to write programs that are going to fight this deleting programs. And like that's part of the Shadow War is like a virtual war, where they're just trying to outright each other's programs. The Inquisition is trying to get the data. The Mechanicus
40K hacker battles.
honestly, and,
Hacker man.
yeah, hacker man. And then the Mechanicus is just trying to withhold onto that knowledge and
Yeah,
not
because
give any of it
Mechanicum
away.
hates sharing any
No,
of their
of course,
knowledge.
knowledge
They
is
love-
power.
Yeah. So
And all knowledge is sacred to them too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
no one else deserves to have it, and that's another aspect of their Shadow War, because it's not technically a real war.
yeah.
Right?
Cold War.
Kind of, but you're active within it, but it doesn't have the same consequences. But it does say here that it's wrecked planets. And if you think about it, a lot of planets are automated,
Oh yeah. Sure.
right? So if all of a sudden, like the codes you're writing, like you start deleting this and then you start fighting this one, and all of a sudden now the entire planet's like AI systems, or not AI, but its functioning systems have been wrecked, like now this planet's done.
It's machine spirit.
Right, exactly. That's pretty crazy. Like you just
Yeah.
write it into the ground. So
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
I had never heard about the Shadow War.
Honestly, I haven't either until today. So
Amazing.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So I think that's really a pretty good general understanding of the Inquisition, what they're capable of, and what they believe, and other notes and words.
Oh yeah,
So-
it's a lot. This is also an extremely basic understanding.
oh, you can
super
dive into any of this stuff so
because
far.
there's so individual.
yeah.
Right? Like you can talk about Adeptus Astartes and cover a good understanding of what every chapter is going to do.
Yeah.
Whereas this, every Inquisitor is completely different from the
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
So hopefully you have a small understanding
Yeah.
of where the Inquisition came from, how they function, and
Yeah.
the different philosophies that they adhere to.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next episode where we do the founding of the Ordo Malleus. Well, not really, but the Grey Knights, and like
Yes.
get into them and
sounds
actually
sick.
cover like a full Space Marine chapter.
Excellent.
Yeah, it should be good.
Let's get to some listener questions. So, Drew asks, would you be an Inquisitor if someone forced you to live in the 40K universe, and which Ordo would you go for? Also, what do you guys think of the black ships, both in universe versus as a reflection on the historical slave trade? So, first question, would you be an Inquisitor if someone forced you to live in the 40K?
Yeah, honestly.
So, is this a question I can choose anything, including Inquisitor, or is this you can live in the 40K universe and be
You'd have
an
to be an Inquisitor.
and I have to? Then yes, obviously, like that would be pretty wild. Like,
yeah.
Or you live currently.
yeah.
You can either choose to live
if I
as a
could hate
regular...
my job, I'd do anything else.
Jordan, would you become an Inquisitor?
He's thinking. He's still thinking about
So deep
Primarch
in
genitals.
thought. Yeah, exactly. It never stops.
Still working that out.
I don't know if I understand the question. Would you be if someone forced you to live in the 40K?
So
Because nobody wants to live in 40K. It's such a nat. You have to be.
I don't think there's any way I would want to live.
No.
Not even as the emperor would I want to live. In
Well, I mean,
40K.
he's pretty much dead, so that would
Banging the farm's wife.
Okay, so
Eric.
totally. Come on.
Oh yeah, you said yeah. Yeah.
What Ordos would you join? And let's not get into
Unknown purpose.
Let's not get into the philosophies.
Yeah.
Let's just do the Ordos. So, what task would you like to deal with?
Me, I would probably do like the Ordo Astartes. I find that very interesting.
You just want to hang out with Space Marines?
Yeah, and like just I don't know, it's interesting.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to do a combat role. It's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm getting
Well, you
at.
die immediately.
Like it, yeah.
for sure.
For me, I think it'd be either Ordo Astartes, just because it'd be cool. But the other one maybe be just the Redactus, just like burying the history,
Okay, yeah.
just like the espionage aspect. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So now, don't make fun of me, Mark.
Yeah.
First choice,
Ordo Malleus, because I am a badass.
Ordo Malleus.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yes.
it's my favorite
Yeah,
of
sure,
all of
sure.
it. But also Ordo Kronos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, but I don't know what happened.
So
to me.
I don't know, but I don't know if I would be part of the people that disappeared, or if I'm part of like the new Ordo Kronos that's trying to find out what happened to the old
Yeah.
Ordo Kronos.
But really, it's a time loop. and
exactly,
you are
I'm the same guy.
Yeah. Oh my
And
god.
soon I'm gonna disappear and go back in time, and then I'm gonna find myself. It's
Yeah.
gonna be messed up.
Jordan,
Ordo Barbarus,
which one was that one?
monitoring pre-industrial world.
Yes. He's floating in the
Super
satellite
relaxed.
over top of your world.
For 10 years at a time.
Jordan's like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Anyway, okay. What do you guys think of the black ships, both in universe and as some reflection on the historical slave trade?
Okay, so let's just not do that because first of all, black ships have no reference to slave trade at all. When you Google black ships, it has to do with like American ships going to Japan in like the 17th century. Like, unless we're talking about the skin color black ships, but we're not. Like, it's a stupid question. Let's not.
Tell us how you really feel, Mark.
No, it's just like, what does he want us to say about that one? I don't quite understand. Maybe I'm
you-
overreacting.
No,
Sorry,
he
Drew.
wants to
Like-
say, do you think there's a connection?
Sure. Is there a connection? Like,
So-
anytime is there slavery? Is there a connection to slavery? Sure.
Well, I mean, technically, even they're not slaves.
yeah, but all I'm saying is it's a question that actually like has no bearing in
Yeah.
like. It's
Okay, so here's what I would say actually.
Sure,
half
go for it.
answering this question.
Okay.
So when it comes to the black ships, I feel like I would want to be a psyker if I was in 40K.
Uh-huh.
I just tend to like the mage stuff in any fantasy thing. But I wouldn't want to just be like sacrificed basically.
And chances are good you would be.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like Eisenhorn, I'm pretty sure was on a black ship.
Okay.
When I was like reading the beginning of Xenos, like I'm pretty sure that was in there. So like there's the potential that you don't end up a sacrifice. And in that case, it'd be cool to be one of those guys. But for the most part, it would suck because you just get ripped away from your family and friends and get
die.
sacrificed.
To die.
To
Yeah,
feed
yeah.
the battery emperor.
that happens with the Imperial Guard as well. We don't relate that to slavery.
I also
No.
don't want to
like
be a
it's
part
just
of the
a
Imperial
question.
Guard.
Yeah.
It's the black ships. It's more like black is always associated with the color like death
Yeah.
and like doom and destruction. So it's like when the black ships come to take you away.
Exactly.
I
It has
do
nothing to do
not
with the slave
see
trade.
the reflection.
It's like Pirates of the Caribbean, like the Black Pearl. It's the name that's meant to like
It's
inspire
dread.
fear.
Yes.
As opposed to
We did it, boys.
And what were you referring to with the slave trade? Like the Atlantic slave trade?
I don't know.
This is all we have.
The slave trade has been around for all of human history, with
Yeah.
the exception of the last 5 minutes of human history.
But
so-
even there still is a huge slave trade.
yeah,
going on right
actually,
now.
yeah.
Like,
So I redact that statement.
Like-
There's still open slave markets in Libya as we speak. So
Yeah.
anywho,
Lorehammer.
hot takes.
Politics.
Doing the real work. Anyways, Raymond asks, what exactly is the relationship between the Death Watch and Inquisition? Who's in charge?
All right,
Top?
screw you, Raymond. First of all, I'm a ridiculous human.
So the Death Watch is a military branch of the Inquisition, who I don't believe reports to anyone. Like the Death Watch will determine their own course of action, but the Inquisition works very closely with them.
Yeah.
And anyone from the Ordo Xenos kind of has like an in where it's like, if they do need Space Marines to help them, they can go to the Death Watch and be like, hey, I need your help with this.
And here's almost how I feel. It's a thing of trust as well.
Yeah.
Like if an Ordo Xenos contacts the Death Watch and is like, look, like here's the situation, I need you right away. They believe that person way more than if someone from the Ordo Scriptorum were to be like, oh my gosh, look at all the Xenos out here.
Yeah.
The Death Watch would be like you're not part of the Ordo Xenos. Like we don't have contact. I don't believe what you're saying. So there's no one in charge at the top. It's all just mutual understanding.
Yeah, very much similar to the Space Marine Astartes
Exactly.
Inquisition.
Yes.
I feel like a bit closer of a relationship.
Yes,
but,
absolutely.
But definitely same vein.
Yeah.
And that's going to go with any of the Ordo Malleus, the Grey Knights,
Yeah.
and then the Sisters of Battle and the Ordo
Yeah.
Hereticus.
But if someone put a wiener to my head and I had to pick who was on top,
Yeah. Who's on top?
the Inquisition.
Inquisition. Always. Yeah, because they answer to no one.
Oh, I forget what there's a specific term for like those three like battle groups in reference to the like Ordo that they're related to. But like
I don't know what you're fishing for here.
I'll get the name and then
All right.
Yeah.
James says, discussing Inquisition in the current updated lore would be cool. Is there any mention of them somewhere?
I did a quick little search and I didn't really find anything.
I don't think it would have changed much.
No, like as we even said in this Emperor, Reboot Gilliman himself didn't really change the way the
Imperium functions.
Imperium is functioning. So I think it's a very similar role. I know a lot. There is one story of the High Lords of Terra like talking to each other, and they're like, "What do we think about Gilliman? Like, we should overthrow him. Like, we can't let him like take back what we have. Like, him and his friends betrayed." Like, they just go on.
Well,
This
the reality is
Yeah.
that the Space Marines were just an army.
Yeah.
And they were not in charge of the administration of the Imperium at all, which is one of their points of contention.
Yeah. So, having said that, like, there might be a new brand of radical inquisitors out there who are like, enough with Space Marines. Like,
Exactly. Like they
you
do
know,
not deserve or they are not worthy
of
ruling.
They're just warriors.
Exactly.
Okay, so I got the thing, and it's called Chamber Militant. And so, although an Inquisitor can employ the services of any branch of the Imperial service, including the military, each major Ordo also maintains a dedicated Chamber Militant, representing, like, the most dedicated, experienced, and effective forces that the Ordo can call on. So, the Ordo Malleus has the Grey Knights, Ordo Hereticus has the Sisters of Battle, and Xenos has Death Watch. And it's like, they are there on call for them, and they are the most trained in that specific facet of fighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Death Watch also doesn't need the Ordo Xenos' permission to go kill some Xenos.
Yeah, no.
Same with the Grey Knights or the Sisters.
Exactly. The Grey Knights, in fact, if anything, are way more autonomous because, like, and we'll go into that on their episode. I love the Grey Knights.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going. James says, do you think those within the Inquisition prefer pancakes or waffles?
Crepes.
Depends on whether you're a Puritan.
Ooh, okay. What does a Puritan like?
Pancakes. Yeah.
It's not even
Waffles
debatable.
are exotic.
Waffles are exotic and
Okay.
they're newer.
That's true.
Right? It takes a radical to accept a waffle iron.
Fuck.
Whereas a pancake, easy, very, very pure.
There we go.
Some would say.
Very traditional.
Exactly. Tim asks, what do you guys think about the whole Emperor Starchild story and the Inquisition's involvement? So this is referencing the Sensei.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's what I took it as anyways. And the Sensei are the sons of the Emperor
Yeah.
that he fathered over millennia. And the branch of an Inquisition was apparently trying to gather all the Sensei so they could kill them and use their energy / power in order to raise the Emperor back from the dead. It was bullshit.
It's bullshit. Yeah,
bullshit.
I personally don't like that lore either.
Nah, I don't. I think it's dumb, the
you
fact
like
that
it?
he had fathered children.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of woman would survive that?
Well, to me, that's just like referencing like the Greek gods type of stuff. Like Zeus was all up in everybody.
Yeah. Well, true.
Yeah.
True.
There's some weird family lines.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's cool theory, but like it's not for me.
I don't really like it.
But like it's one of those things where like some things aren't for me and some things I hate. Like this just isn't for me. Primaris I hate. You know, like, there's distinctions.
I do like what I do like is that someone has a theory on how to bring the Emperor back from the dead and is working on it.
Yeah, like it has
there's a
cool
bunch,
aspects.
Really?
Well, this is like the biggest one.
Okay. Well, there's a few Ordos that were like...
No, those are... Okay, so you're talking about the Cassiphilus. Yeah, but these guys believe that, like, we just have to find enough sensei, and that's it. Whereas the Cassiphilus is like, at some point we'll learn how to do it. Whereas these guys are like, no, we already know how to do it. This is how.
All right.
Graham asks, does anybody expect the Inquisition? Well, I didn't expect that question.
But at the beginning of the episode, Eric did say that Lorehammer is the only one to expect the Inquisition.
Do you know why? It's because we're super heretical. It was only a matter of time until the Inquisition showed up here.
Yes.
That's all. So the next question we have from Rickard is, how widespread are the rumors of the Inquisition? Does every imperial citizen know about them and fear them? Or is it only the upper echelons that really know about them? So we totally covered this in our first very beginning of the episode.
Yeah, just a quick recap. I was right. So
Mark believes that it is actually a very secret society and that not every citizen knows about it.
Yeah.
And I take it more of a myth legend standpoint.
that everyone
But we did
knows
say
about
like
it.
the upper echelons, it's like guaranteed that they know.
Yeah.
And then the people,
though,
it's kind
even
of
at
like
that
hidden.
point?
Like if they're in contact with the Imperium, I feel like they have to.
You don't have to, though.
If you're paying your tithes, like you
Yeah.
have enough communication to know that the Inquisition is there.
Yeah, I would agree with
Like
that.
they're Big Brother
But
watching your back.
If the theory is that you don't have to know about them, then I don't think there's there's no have to know about them. Like, which one of these Ordos is responsible for watching tithe gatherings? I didn't see one.
Ordo Tythothus.
Right? But that's what I'm saying is like, I did not see one that's
Yeah.
specifically responsible for planetary like leaders or watching that kind of corruption. So
Wasn't
Well,
there one?
that's-
Wasn't there one?
The Ordo Hereticus.
No. Oh, well.
that would be the closest one.
I thought there was one that was like in charge of planetary things.
Well, there's
the-
those mapping stars and systems.
And then there's
or
the
whatever.
Barbarous, which monitors pre-industrial
Yeah,
worlds.
that's just like keeping an eye on them.
Yeah,
make sure they don't
exactly.
develop nukes and shoot.
No,
them.
I don't remember any of them that specifically are like oversee
Yeah.
like planets, right? On an individual level.
Yeah,
So,
no.
Like the reality is like there's no guarantee if you're saying that not everyone knows about it, then there's no guarantee that everyone knows about
Yeah,
it.
so how much of the population knows about the Emperor? Because if the Inquisition,
He's a god.
If the Inquisition is number 2,
He's a religion,
Then,
but
like,
but it's a secret police.
secret air
Right, but
quotes.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I guess.
Is like if you say
Yeah,
that
and that-
there's
and like Mark said, like GW has like different definitions for secret.
Of course,
like,
yeah.
everybody
So
knows
there's-
all these secret things.
So I don't think you could confidently say that okay, the worker doesn't know about them, but you know the planetary leaders do.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Okay.
Does every blah blah blah? Okay, we already answered all that crap.
Yeah.
Matt asks, "What do rogue traders think of the Inquisition, and vice versa?" That's a cool question. We all know how scared the vast majority of the Imperium are of them, but what about scions, navigators, assassins, etc.?
I think that a lot of like especially Ordo Xenos tend to work with rogue traders, don't they?
The rogue traders definitely have a lot of Xenos contact.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that definitely makes sense.
So
Yeah.
the interesting thing about rogue traders is they can get away with a lot too, though.
They have a lot of leeway.
Like they can go hang out with Xenos.
Yeah.
And if an Ordo Xenos Inquisitor came up to him, he's like whips out his I forget what they call it, torrent of trade.
I don't know what it is an official document that
Yeah.
allows them to do this.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if an Inquis even though he whips that out, it is not 100%
No,
protection.
I think it is. Those documents were literally signed by the Emperor himself.
who is the only person that the Inquisition answers to. So interesting.
So I think the
Hold on, how's it signed by the Emperor himself?
because they're passed on from
Yeah,
family
from family
line
to
for
family. They've been
thousands of
around
years.
forever.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So like if you show anyone that piece of paper signed by the Emperor himself,
You go blind.
you go blind. No, like
Yeah.
how do you argue with
Yeah,
that, right?
totally. That's crazy.
But having said that, like if they're doing something super crazy, like if they're dealing with a chaos corrupt Xenos race that is summoning demons, there are limits.
Yeah.
Like I think in that torrent of trade or whatever they call it, there must be clauses in it. Like
Okay, so here's what it is. So it's called a warrant of trade.
oh,
And so it's
torrent warrant, yeah.
this allows them to interact with cultures for which contact is normally forbidden, be they non-imperial worlds or Xenos controlled planets. But they are granted permission and freedom to deal with these cultures as they see fit, so long as it is in the interests of the Imperium.
Yeah.
So that's where the Inquisitor gets to step in.
Yeah, like I said, like if they're dealing with some crazy demon summoning guys, like sure. But I think if they're just going about their...
It even says in the next line, one can assume that a renegade rogue trader guilty of heresy or treason will be severely prosecuted by the Inquisition.
Yeah.
Nobody is above the law.
Yeah.
No,
Except
well,
for an
exactly.
Except for an
like,
Inquisitor.
But if you're still...
But even then, there's checks and balances.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was just kidding.
Yeah. And then for the end of it, I'd say like if they know about the Inquisition, yeah, they respect and fear that power.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
What do we got next?
Me and Matt had an interesting phone call conversation this morning.
Okay.
I had a crazy fever dream last night. I get these all the time where I had crazy lore pop into my head. I had to tell somebody. So I'm lying in my bed next to my wife and I wake up in a fevered sweat and I quickly run out to my garage and make a phone call to Matt. I'm not even wearing my shirt, not wearing any pants. So
You're
it was
a mess.
It was fun. We had a good conversation. It was a good time.
Oh boy. But you're talking about Tau.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he tolerated it. So
Of course he did. We all tolerate you, Mark.
It was funny. He's like, so do I take off my shirt or what's the deal?
Were you FaceTiming him?
Yeah, because we tried audio because he lives in UK.
Yeah.
Then I tried audio calling him, but it was just not going through, so we had to just
That's
FaceTime.
funny. Just not wearing a shirt, 2 a.m. We got like bed head and like
Yeah,
a wild look in your eyes.
Yeah. The sweat part.
Matt, I have the answer. The solution to all our problems.
Oh, man. It's good.
Okay. Vincent asks, if you could talk about Eisenhorn, that would be awesome. All right. So Eisenhorn was an Inquisitor.
I hear he is awesome.
Awesome. An interesting thing to note about Eisenhorn is that twice he has been declared excommunicate traitore.
Spoilers.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Well, I kind of do, but like I'm still reading the book.
Okay, so I won't go on.
I'm just gonna plug my ears. Go.
All right. So that's probably the coolest and most notable thing about Eisenhorn. Another thing is that he's a member of the Ordos Xenos, but seems to only hunt heretics.
Yeah, and he has a demon host.
Yeah, so who knows? He was a Puritan at some point in the very beginning of his life, and now he is one of the most extreme radicals that ever existed.
Yeah. To be honest, I've never read the book, so I don't really
Never read the
know.
books, but I have read a lot on him,
Yeah.
and he is... one of the reasons why he's so cool... One of the reasons why he's so cool is just because there's a lot written about him.
Yeah.
Right? Because anyone they write a lot about is just going to be badass.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's GW.
Yeah.
Anyways, but he is really cool. At some point, we need to do an episode on him specifically.
So, Vincent, why don't you message us and tell us what you think about him?
Yeah, like what's your favorite thing about him?
Yeah, because I think that's going to be more interesting to hear what you think than hear what I think about something I know nothing about.
And then very last but not least, we have our friend Paul, and he asked, can we discuss that most infamous Inquisitor who ripped that happy guy's jaw off? Well, here's to you, Paul. We already did it.
Jaws off to you, Paul.
Jaws off to you. Oh my gosh. Well, that concludes our episode on the beginning of the Inquisition.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it, obviously, as always. Go ahead, send us a message if you have any questions about what we already asked, if we clearly said something extremely wrong, and we just
You look
have
at
to
me
be
with such
corrected.
eyes.
Well, no, I know it's me, but it doesn't matter. If we said something wrong that we need to correct, let us know. You shoot us an email, lorehammerpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. Just search Lorehammer. We're on Twitter, Lorehammer40K. We've got a Redbubble merchandise line. You can just buy crap with our logo on it, and we get a cut of it. We've got a Patreon. You can find all of our cool stuff. What you should do is you should go to our Facebook page because you'll find all that information there.
Yeah. And we post stuff there too
every
sometimes
once
that
in a while.
apparently people enjoy. It's weird, but
It is a little odd. Like, these people should get a freaking life.
And they talk to you, as Mark just said. He'll call you at 2 a.m. in his underwear.
Every
to
person-
tell you about some fever dream about Tau lore. So,
Every person deserves a personal phone call from the Lorehammer team. Just kidding, we don't do that.
I do that.
You do that.
I'll do that.
Mark's got a list that he's checking in. Anyways, I think we're done on this one.
Yeah, it's good. Thanks,
Cool.
Micah.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Micah. Always
You
a
were
pleasure to
our
have you.
15th choice, but I think you did
Yeah,
all right.
We made it work.
Thank
you.
you.
made it work.
And I get invited to the Facebook chat, and then it's like, hey, can you do this? No, I can't.
Oh, I guess you
And
get.
then-
Yeah,
oh,
you
so
can
you know
see.
it's the truth.
Yeah. It hurts.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye bye.
Peace out.
See ya.